Hello, YouTube. And here we are, guys. This is the video I've been wanting to do for quite some time. Ranking every Pixar movie. I don't even know if I want to do an intro for Pixar. I mean, everyone knows what Pixar is, and we all know what they are famous for. Making the best animated movies ever, and stands alongside Disney, DreamWorks, and Studio Ghibli, and Sony lately as regarded as one of the best animated movies ever made from our childhood to adulthood. But I know you might be asking for some of you guys, Calvin Trackmaster, didn't you already did a video like this 3 years ago? Well, yes, but the thing is that, because one, that video was really old, like 3 years ago, and I feel like I need to make an update of that video. And two, a bunch of my opinions changed on these films, so they kind of like changed a little bit. And three, Pixar has more film. The more Pixar films that they make, the more that my rankings would change. So, that too. So, I feel like so after the release of Toy Story 5, I feel like, hey, maybe I should rank all the Pixar movies all over again. And it's definitely mostly agreed that almost everything they make is okay to phenomenal, and there's probably only like one or a few bad movies, so which is why we're gonna go from worst to best, which will be easier, along with some suspense in the middle portion and some obvious stuff at the top. So you guys don't. I know some of you guys are probably gonna know what to expect, but I want to set up a few ground rules. Rule number 1. We're only going to do the main feature films from Pixar. So no Pixar shorts, no promotional material, and none of the TV or holiday specials. So those are not count. Maybe one day I could do a short Pixar short film ranking, but I might take quite a long time. Number 2, my family would occasionally or frequently be also being special guests for Pacific films. So for sometimes like when I'm getting to the next film, I'll have Dad. Maybe the next movie, like higher up, I'll have Mom. And one with Sean and Josh, etc., etc. I'm not going to do this for every movie because, well, unlike me, they haven't seen every single Pixar movie. So they're not going to get fully, like, in their own input on every single film. So it's probably one or two guesses at a time for certain films. And number 3, this video has taken a long time for me to make, because I know I promised this like a month and a half ago, but it just takes a while for me to make videos like these, and sometimes I have to think, do I really want to like make it this long, and so on and so forth. And it's just a big chore to do. And hold on. And alright, and number 4, and most importantly, this is just my and some of us ours opinion. This ranking isn't the definitive Pixar ranking from the general public. This is just my opinion, and if one of your favorites is at the bottom, then you know what? That's fine. I know some people are gonna I know there's probably going to be a bunch of angry mobs at the door going to try and murder me and all that. But this is just our opinion at the end of the day. So, why not grab some popcorn, some Pizza Planet pizza, cupcake in a cup, and maybe some pasta along the way and mushrooms with it. And turn on our desk lamps and let's explore the wonderful world of Pixar. Here we go. Alright guys, in last place at number 33, the worst Pixar movie, and it's also the most overrated, is Finding Nemo. I mean, if you saw me and Dad's most overrated movies ever, I definitely put this as the most overrated one. Not only of that list, but the most overrated Pixar movie ever. I mean, there's really not much we could say about it.
I mean, me personally, I there's one or two things I do actually like about Finding Nemo, but there's nothing I like about Finding Dory.
We'll get to that later.
I'm not going to argue with your assessment of either one. Yeah, it's just I've watched it a bunch of times, especially when you and your brothers were young, and I just don't get it.
That was a horrible mistake we done. You could have just smashed that DVD into fucking pieces.
You remember when I got that for you for Christmas?
Okay, so here's a funny story. So Dad actually got Finding Nemo and Happy Feet on DVD as a joke.
Yeah, and it nearly ruined Cal's Christmas.
But it's kind of funny, but just it should only be like a one and done deal. You should not do it every year. It would not be funny.
No, it's just this year it seemed to. I saw him and I was like, Cal's gonna hate these.
Yep, I still don't know why people love this movie, and it should have never won Best Animated Feature.
Yeah.
If you want to see us go more in depth why we don't like it, then just watch our most overrated movies.
Yeah, which is too bad, because I really love Albert Brooks, and he's great.
But he couldn't save this movie.
On a side note, I was reading an interesting thing the other day. You know Albert Brooks' episode of The Simpsons where he plays Hank Scorpio?
Yeah.
That they have 3 hours of just him making stuff up as they're going, and basically they worked that episode around those recordings. And Dan Castellaneta, who plays Homer, just his reactions to him are completely unscripted also. And it just makes an already great episode even greater, because it's just Albert Brooks going on and on and on.
You know what? If you just want to watch a good, animated Albert Brooks film or show, just watch either the Simpsons movie or the Hank Scorpio episode in The Simpsons instead of wasting your time, on the worst Pixar movie ever. That we will die on this hill.
Yes.
And,
do you think it's possible that Pixar could make a movie in the future worse than Finding Nemo?
If they're gonna do a third one, maybe, but Pixar's just the king of animations. It's the best animation studio out there.
Yeah.
And at that time, Pixar was on one of their hot streaks.
Yes.
Toy Story 1 and 2, Monsters Inc. and Bugs Life, all of them were pretty good. Then Nemo comes up, and it's their first misstep. Everyone says
But do you think that it's so highly regarded by most people because it was in the golden... Say it had been released 5 years ago. Do you think it would have got the amount of praise that it did?
I hope not. I hope not. And it shouldn't... Like I said, it should have never won Best Animated Feature in 2004.
What did it beat out?
It beat out Brother Bear and Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas.
Mm-hmm. Not a lot of great choices there. Can we just not do one that year? And save it for the next year.
Well, next year we also had Shrek 2 and Incredibles, which is a film we'll get to much, much, much later on this list. But yeah, I'm sorry. Like, Pixar never made a bad movie during that time. Like, the closest they made to a bad movie was, like, Bug's Life, and, like, that was still pretty
And
good.
who directed Finding Nemo?
Andrew Stanton,
was
which he also did the sequel, which we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah.
But he also directed the latest Pixar movie, Toy Story 5, which kind of blows my mind that he directed that. And one of the greats, Wall-E, which we'll get to later.
So he does some good and he does some bad.
He's kind of a mixed director, but he's kind of, after watching Toy Story 5, I feel like he's kind of starting to get a little better. I hope he directs another film.
Okay.
Like, whether if it be an original or a sequel.
Yeah.
Just please don't be another Finding Nemo sequel. Please do
I'd
not.
be shocked at this point if they did another one.
Andrew and Pixar, just please do better. Alright, so now that was our only bad movie, which was a 3 out of 10 in the D tier. We're entering the C tier movies. This is the first Pixar movie that's barely passable. At number 32, even though my dad would probably say this is the worst film, Finding Dory.
Mm-hmm.
Look, it's only better just by a little bit. I find it to be a very average movie.
What makes you feel like it's better than Finding Nemo?
Alright, let's start on with the positives. I think the animation, especially for 2016, looked really nice. I actually remember when I saw this movie for the first time, I was like, 8 years old?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I looked at the animation, like several scenes, I'm like, whoa, like, Marley and Nemo look kind of orange to reddish in the first movie, but, like, in the second one, they look kind of close to yellow, and, like, I definitely could tell that animation difference. Sometimes, like, during that time, I wouldn't tell the difference, but, like, this is one of those, I'm like, oh, damn, it looks completely different. It looks drastic.
I mean, it definitely is a step up in animation in the second one.
I also think, once again, Thomas Newman, despite he's working in probably one of Pixar's worst franchises, he did a pretty good score. And sometimes, like, his score is really breathtaking. You should listen to Open Ocean, between 30 seconds to a minute is so breathtaking.
Yeah, I mean, Thomas Newman is a fantastic composer. My favorites for his will always be American Beauty and Road to Perdition, which are both phenomenal. Great movies, but also just great soundtracks.
And also, I feel like the aquarium setting is just much better than the vast open ocean. I feel like, as a vacuum, like, it sounds cool on paper, but with the first movie, you just kind of get tired of it, like, after 40 or 50 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Which, with the aquarium, it just looks much better because there's different variety of fish, and it just looks much better. I feel like I wish they would have done more in the first film.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But that doesn't mean that Finding Nemo is not a good movie, unfortunately. The story and characters are just meh. For some reason, I just never liked the Finding Nemo franchise. They could burn. And fortunately, this movie was not win for Best Animated Feature that year.
Mackenzie's going to strongly disagree with you on this.
I know. There's going to be a mob that's going to kill me. Alright, but didn't you kind of mention or told me, like, this was the worst Pixar movie? Let's start.
I personally think it's worse than Finding Nemo. Probably just because I really dislike Ellen DeGeneres, so anything with her, I do not like.
Speaking of which, I feel like Dory was just much better, like, in this one, but not by much. I like the idea that they want to focus on her to try and make her more sympathetic, but I still don't care about her, but like a little bit better, not as irritating as the first.
Not that there's been tons of examples of it in movies, but I dislike characters that like forget who they are constantly. you know, like
Yes.
memory problems. And I know there's very few movies I can actually think of that have that in it, but I don't know. I just think it's, man, maybe people like that do exist in real life, but it just seems kind of stupid.
Yeah. But I'm trying to
I just never thought Dory was a great character to begin with.
Hey Dad, you wanna know a fun fact about the film?
Hit me.
The Dory's dad is actually played by Eugene Levy, which was Arn from Astro Boy.
Yeah, and Eugene Levy's done so many great things.
But this was probably
I'd
one
watch
of-
anything with Eugene Levy.
But this is probably one of his more forgettable films. I was like talking about this film, I'm like, oh wait, I actually remember that.
Yeah, until you mentioned it right now, I totally forgot he was in it.
I feel like another thing too I just don't like about this movie is like I just feel like it was kind of unnecessary. It's not bad, but it was just very unnecessary.
It felt like a cash grab. Like, oh, here, let's just make a sequel for the sake of making a sequel, and I'll make $1 billion.
I mean, would you look at that? It did.
Yeah.
But fortunately, unlike its predecessor, it did not win for Best Animated Feature, and it got outbeat by Zootopia.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good. But yeah, I like Finding Dory is just barely fine. Like it's barely a fine movie, but not as bad as its first movie. But it's kind of one of their most It Exists movies that they have ever made.
The less said about these two movies, the better.
All right. I hope I never talk about these ones ever again.
Okay.
All right. So moving on. At number 31, I have Turning Red, and you know, I thought this movie was kind of good when it first came out. So fun story. I saw this movie like towards the end of my 8th grade class, like, what, 4 years ago? Damn, that was long. So I saw this in 8th grade, like, when it came out, because our smart boards had Disney Plus on it, and I thought it was kind of good, but now when I think about it in retrospective, yeah, and I feel like this movie's kind of mid, guys. I get what it's trying is. This is definitely one of the most divisive Pixar movies that ever is. Like, you either really love this movie or you really hate this movie. And, well, this is definitely far from the worst Pixar movie. But comparing it to all the other movies, yeah, this might be a bottom 3 Pixar movie. I don't think it's like terrible or anything, but it's just not that memorable. And yeah, I just feel like the Final Battle concert scene was really cringe. Yeah, it really wasn't much. I really just can't really remember much about it that I like or remember. I just remember this is like the first Pixar film that was directed by a woman named Domi Shi, who directed the Pixar short Bao. And, well, I haven't seen Bao in quite some time. I'm gonna be real with you, Chief. I don't think Turning Red is that great. Like, it's cool and whatnot, like, it's just not really I'm not really meant to be a good puberty movie. Honestly, you guys just much rather rewatch Inside Out. It's a fine movie that just, for me, it kind of exists. Also another C-tier Pixar movie. I will say it's better than the Nemo movies, I'll say that. Alright, moving on. Alright, everyone. Now we're entering the 6 out of 10 movies. So, it's similar to the 5 out of 10 movies. Like, these are movies that kind of exist, are okay or mid, but they are slightly more enjoyable. Like, you probably have more of a decent time. And at number 30 is Cars 2, Wow, would you look at that? It's not in last place. That's what everyone, if you ask anybody, like, what are some of the worst Pixar films in existence? If you ask anybody, like, what are the worst Pixar movies in existence, many people are going to say Cars 2 is one of, if not probably the worst Pixar movie in existence.
Well, it's a good thing I'm not a lot of people because personally, I love Cars 2. Is it one of Pixar's best movies? No, but I do have a soft spot for it.
I mean, for me, Cars 2 is one of the most polarizing Pixar movies in my opinion.
You took the words right out of my mouth because polarizing is exactly the word I would use. Because there's a lot of people that really hate on it.
I mean, just look at Rotten Tomatoes. They fucking...
Yes.
I mean,
but it does have a certain cult following out there of people that really, really like it.
Hell, even Sean and Josh say it's a top 10 Pixar, one of their best.
Myself included, I would say. I love all the Cars movies, though. I think they're great. And real quick, I will just give my 2 cents, which is I like Cars 2 so much because it's just such a dramatic change from the first movie.
I mean, yes, but...
I mean, outside of the main characters, it's like you wouldn't even know it was really related to the first Cars movie.
I mean, some people say, like, it really should not really relate to the Cars franchise. It would just be better off...
I give them credit because it's like they took a whole other movie and then they said, let's try to fit this into the Cars universe.
It's like they kind of like pitched 2 movies. One is like a good sequel to Cars. Like it's about a worldwide race with Lightning McQueen in it.
Yes.
And then they also pitched this spy thriller of how this fuel is bad. And the executives just didn't know what to choose because they were so Cars 2. And he's like, do the mash them up? Like, that's how I thought of.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's a spy movie. It's like a James Bond, type movie. And again, personally, I love it because it is just so different. And it does have some really, really good parts to it. Let's face it, you and I make the joke all the time whenever we see pistachio ice cream.
All right. One of the funniest scenes in all of Pixar is... Okay, Mater should not be the main character of the film. Like,
agreed.
I
find Mater pretty annoying, I'm not going to lie. But...
Like, there were a few good scenes he was in. I don't think the people on the internet, like... They were correct with the hate with Mater. Yeah. Like, he really shouldn't be...
Which is weird, because I can't stand Mater in the movies, but I like Mater's tall tales. Go figure,
Okay, so Mater should... Like, that's probably one of the biggest problems that I feel like. It just should have been focused on McQueen. Like, that could have just been the side plot of the movie, and, like, it would still work. I don't know why they made it.
It does seem like there's a lot going on. It's like, it's still a buddy movie between McQueen and Mater. Then it's got the spy stuff, and then it's got the, kind of conspiracy stuff with the all in all.
I feel
There's just a lot going on in it, which I guess is good because it's better than it just being boring.
Yes, this film is... weirdly fun, and I kind of have some childhood nostalgic bias. That's why I don't give it as much hate as...
It's got a fast pace. I don't really see any major flaws with the movie. I think it's a very well made movie.
Yeah, it's just... I feel like
it's going to be for you or it's not. There's not much of an in-between.
Alright, so I feel like we kind of cut off a little bit. One of the funniest scenes in all of Pixar is when Mater mistakes wasabi for pistachio ice cream. It's like one of those few scenes that his stupidity is actually really funny.
Yes.
I feel like the closest is that weird ass bathroom scene.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking...
Again, I think there's some great stuff in it. I really like the races in it too. I think are really...
But they just kind of constantly cut off to the...
I wish they had included
lemon cars.
More of the actual races in the movie.
Alright, like, Cars 2 could have been a truly great movie, but it was just, there's just a lot of messes that I feel like really could use a rewrite.
To me, I feel like the positive outweighs the negative when it comes to Cars.
Mostly. It is a fun movie, but it is heavily flawed. And another thing we just gotta mention, you know how in the first and third movies, like, it's just mostly like a car universe, like they only drink oil.
Yes.
But they just constantly show like real food, like the wasabi, ice cream, like how did they broke those rules?
I don't think you really can put too much thought into just the Cars universe in general. It's like, how are cars born?
Yes, I mean, we're not gonna.
Well, yeah, again,
There's even a Pope car, like
exactly. We could spend a whole podcast just breaking down the Cars world and
like
all the things wrong with it. But it's you gotta put it out of your mind altogether. You're like, all right, whatever. They're cars.
But there's one thing we should probably think about. We shouldn't criticize the film like as a whole for quality on that.
Yeah.
Because like,
but
I feel like.
But I agree with your earlier statement about, Mater really was the main character of that movie, and it really should have been focused more on Lightning McQueen. But
it's the weakest of the franchise, but it's pretty alright. Like,
I'll tell you what, if I was flipping through the channels and it was on, I'd probably at least watch it for a few minutes.
I feel like I would just like if we get to the funny pistachio ice cream scene, then that's probably the only part I would.
Okay, that's fair.
So yeah, so Cars 2 is kind of the weirdest Pixar movie to talk about because I feel like it should be loved more and hate
But the hate is deserved.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Personally, I think it belongs probably in the top 20, but I'm not going to argue with your assessment because, like you said,
it's kind of look. It really shouldn't be the fifth worst Pixar movie, but it's kind of here for what it represents.
Yeah, I think that's fair assessment.
And like you can just skip this one and go right to 3 after the first one, and nothing much would change.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually a really good point. You could go from 1 to 3.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. At number 29, I have Brave, and to be honest, I really don't remember much about Brave, but from what I could tell, it was pretty decent, but it kind of really suffered through a really troublesome production history. I mean, it was going to be Brendan Chapman who was directing this movie, and then it was going to be called, like, The Bear and the Bow. It was going to be kind of similar, but not really. Then they got this weird guy named Mark Andrews, and this is one of those Pixar films I don't really remember much about, but I do remember probably seeing it once when I was a kid. And actually, fun fact, when I was in 10th grade, I think I saw like a bit of this movie in one of my classes. I'm like, oh yeah, it was alright. Like, I really don't have much to say. It did really have a really bad, troublesome production history, but I feel like the mother-daughter thing was much better, and yeah, there really wasn't much. Like, this and Cars 2 can flip-flop depending on the day, and probably it's alongside the next spot, but alright, fine, but moving on. At number 28, I have The Good Dinosaur. Yeah, this film is also kind of similar to Brave, where there really wasn't much to say about it, because there really isn't too much to talk about it. I mean, I actually did remember I had to rewatch this film, like, a few months ago, like, so I could do this ranking thing, just to have, like, a full memory of it, and from what I could tell, it wasn't too bad. Like, yeah, this is definitely on the weaker end of Pixar movies, but this one's kind of a little more tame. But yeah, there really wasn't too much about it. But I will say the landscapes look really nice, even though they don't really match with the character designs. And like Brave, it also had a really troublesome production history. And the movie almost could have been really different. And I really can't blame them. And like the other two, like they could interchange depending on the day. But I think Good Dinosaur is probably the best out of this weirdly mediocre group. I really just don't have much to say about Good Dinosaur. It's fine. Moving on. Alright, at number 27, I have Onward. And this is the last decent Pixar film. Not that, like, this is, like, the last, like, their last good movie, I think. This is just the last, like, C tier Pixar movie. Like, I feel like most of these 6 and 5 out of 10 movies, like I just saw these films that just kind of exist, or I'm just very neutral about it. But this is the closest from being kind of good. And would you look at that? It's a good father-son story from Pixar. Finally, after what, 17 years? It's well done. Yeah, like the brothers have a really nice dynamic with the dad. Like, sure, it does feel a little tedious to get the story started, but the Avengers isn't too bad, and I do like some of the emotional hooks here and there, and yeah, I had a decent time with Onward. Like, this didn't really blow off my toes or anything, but for what it was kind of decent. I mean, not a terrible start to this decade, and yeah, if you really like this movie, then that's cool. At my number 26, I have Luca. And and now, alright, so I should mention, like, now we're entering the good movies. So we're now entering the B tier movies. These are movies that are good but not great. And as I said, at number 26, I have Luca. Luca was good. It was fine, but it wasn't really meant to be like a super great Pixar movie as like the ones from the 2000s, or hell, maybe even some stuff we have right now, but it's like it really wasn't trying to be. It's a simple, chill movie. Um, Characters are good, like Luca, Alberto, and Julia. Like, it was good. Like, I do see some of my friends really like this one, and yeah, I can kind of see it. Like, it's not the best Pixar movie, but it's definitely pretty enjoyable for what it is. At number 25, at number 25, I have A Bug's Life. This is what many fans say is one of the weakest Pixar films during their prime years, and well, I don't fully agree with that. Nemo. I feel like it's pretty good, but not really great. Yeah, like, I could see why many fans wouldn't rank it as one of their best, because the whole I reveal trope, and it's not really that memorable. But I will say, the animation looks really nice, and the environments look great for, what, 1998, and this is their second movie? Holy shit, bro. And let's not forget, Hopper is a great Pixar villain. And he's definitely a top 10 Pixar villain for sure. I mean, he's literally played by a real villain in real life, Kevin Spacey. Like, how many films have that? Like, how many films can do that? I don't know. Like, you don't really see that. But, yeah, like, Bug's Life is good, but definitely not far from the best. Like, it's not really looked as the best film in their library, but it isn't really looked as its worst. It's kind of that perfect middle ground where I feel like it's perfectly ranked. Even though this is their second film, I feel like many Pixar films feel. I feel like many Pixar fans during that time were just Thinking of the same thing. Still, it's pretty good. And at my number 24, guys, and oh boy, this is gonna be another pretty big hot take. It is the original Cars. I know, boo me in the comments. I know you guys love Cars, but I mean, look, Pixar made a lot of good movies, and yeah, outside of Nemo and Bugs Life, this is definitely one of their more weaker films during this time. I mean, Pixar is an unstoppable beast, but I do like Cars, but I just wouldn't give enough credit as most Gen Zers would probably. It's probably just nostalgia, or they actually might think it's really good, which, hey, it's just your opinion, but seriously, did this movie need to be a minute or two longer than the first Incredibles? No, like. All right, what would you say about the first Cars, Dad?
Well, the story is not original. It's been done many times before, many times since, where
But
a big shot ends up in a small town and learns to appreciate the small things in life and changes his perspective. But even though the story has been done a lot of times before, I think Cars 1 does a very good job of doing that.
yeah, I really like how.
I love the soundtrack. I love the voice cast. Paul Newman. Was there ever better voice casting for a car than him as the Hudson Hornet?
Yeah, I think he was. Like, it did said like it was his best thing that he had done since The Verdict.
The Verdict. Wow. I won't even get started on that other than just to say that The Verdict is one of the best movies I've ever seen. Great movie. But then again, Paul Newman was great in just about everything. But yeah, no, I mean, I really like Cars 1. Like you said, there's a lot of nostalgia there for people.
I mean, including
the characters are great.
For most of them.
For the most part. But I think, the ending is actually one of the best to a Pixar
Bittersweet.
movie. Yeah,
I mean, it's a really good ending. Probably a top 10 ending. Like, he could have just got like the win.
Yeah,
but I feel like it was just a better lesson learned.
Agreed. But I think it's I don't know if it's overrated or underrated. I would just say it's rated.
I feel like Cars is good, but you really just can't say it's one of the quote-unquote greatest Pixar films.
No.
I mean, it came out between Incredibles and Ratatouille, two of the most, like, loved films in their library, so it's not really a fair...
No, but it does have some very iconic parts to it.
I mean, I would say the first and last race and the stuff with Doc is where the film kind of mostly peaks, but I feel like most of the middle just really drags, which is kind of...
It does a little. I definitely agree with you.
Look, I know what they were trying to do. They want to, like, try and develop McQueen's character arc, but I feel like they really just could have cut down, like, 10 or 20 minutes of the movie and it would still...
Well, that is the whole point of the movie, though, so they have to spend some time on it. But I understand what you're saying.
But at the same time, like... Did it really have to be nearly 2 hours long? I mean, there are some other Pixar films that probably do deserve that, but I don't know about Cars. I feel like Cars doesn't...
I don't feel like it's a long 2 hours, though. I do agree. You could probably cut it down by maybe 10 minutes or so. But hey, it's also got like one of the most iconic movie scenes nowadays with all the cars surrounding him on the highway. Mac.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that as a meme.
I love how that's become a thing now.
Alright, but this film has a lot of good attributes. The racing scenes are great. They kind of, like, perfectly, like, encapsulate, like, if you went to, like, a real NASCAR event.
Yeah.
Which is, like, the whole damn point of the movie.
Yeah, I do kind of wish they had just kept it at one movie. Again, we were talking before about Cars 2. I really like Cars 2, but it doesn't feel like a Cars movie. And Cars 3 was good, but at the same time, was it really necessary?
We'll get to that later.
But I still feel like Cars should have just been kind of like a one-off.
I don't know. There are also some great stuff too. I mean, the soundtrack is great. This is probably the best like franchise with a soundtrack. It even has the best version of Life is a Highway,
That's
which
true.
and Chick Hicks is one of the funniest Pixar villains of all
Let's
time.
face it, anything Michael Keaton does is pretty much gold. So yeah, I agree. But no, I mean I think it's got a lot of good things going for it, and it's a good movie. Is it, top 10 or top 20 Pixar? No.
No.
So I think it's pretty. I think you get it pretty well rated where it is.
And whenever me and my family go karts, like during the summer in the Cape, we always think of the first three Cars movies.
That's true. Oh, and on a side note, what do you say every time we play Call of Duty and you stab me?
No, when I use the RC car.
Oh, I'm sorry. The
Ka-chow.
RC car. I didn't mean to stab you. The
I
RC
always
car.
go
Ka-chow.
ka-chow.
So
Cars 1 is good, but you really can't pretend it's like the best Pixar movie ever. Like, if you're very nostalgic to it, that's fine, but is it really the best? No, like maybe in someone's top 10 list, like kinda, but no, this is far from the...
This is your list, so you can put it wherever you want.
It's kind of somewhere middle of the road in terms of the Pixar library. At number 23, I think at number 23 is the original Inside Out. And I know it's kind of low on the list, but I just only see it as a good Pixar movie. Like, I think out of all the Pixar movies, this is, without a doubt, their most creative, not only movie, but their most creative franchise. Like, I feel like everyone could admit that, besides Toy Story and Monsters, Inc. But, yeah, I think Inside Out is pretty good. Is it the best film ever made? No. I mean, I do see it in many people's top 10, sometimes top 5, but it's not ranked as, like, someone's, like, best. And I feel like much like Cars, I actually do have some kind of nostalgic memories with this, because I feel like this is the first Pixar movie I fully remember watching in the theaters. Like, this is probably, 11 years ago? Holy shit, that was long. But yeah, Inside Out's good. But I have a few gripes. First of all, the opening narration with Joy, I never told you this, but it's a trope I never really like. I don't know, I never really liked that trope. And two, I feel like some of the plot is not really great. Not the stuff with Riley, but like the stuff with going back to headquarters and all that plot holes. Like, couldn't Joy just put the big core memories in the tube thing, like, to get there or something, like, to travel there faster? Like, there are just some parts of the film that do feel a little tedious, but this film is good. It's a pretty good story, and it has some pretty good emotional beats, especially towards the ending. Rest in peace, Big Bong. And this was probably like the first great Pixar movie that everyone was just like, oh my god, this movie was great. Even though I really wouldn't say it's one of Pixar's best, I feel like for some of the little bumps in the road for the 2010s, like, first 2 years, I feel like this is good. But even though there's probably one that was a bit better than this one, and we'll get to later, I think Inside Out is a pretty good start to this franchise, and a good reminder that Pixar's still good at making movies, even though I really want to put this as one of my top favorites. And yeah, that's really all I have to say. Moving on. At number 22, I have Incredibles 2. Man, Incredibles 2 could have been a worthy successor to the first movie, but it's not. Okay, before we get into the nitty-gritty of this, we gotta, talk about our personal experience to this film when it came out.
Yeah, I mean, we were pretty hyped for it.
I mean, this is one of our, top favorites for almost as this film came out. And when we first saw it, we all thought it was just as good as the first movie.
Yeah, I mean, we walked out of the theater and were like, wow, that was really good, but, you know.
But I feel like the more we saw and thought about it, we kind of slowly start to see where people were coming from.
I think
we waited 14 years for this.
I think there are some issues with it. Overall, it is a good movie. It's well made. There's nothing bad about it, but
besides the twist villain, but we'll get to later.
To me, it's just weird because it just feels like such a retread of the first movie, except the roles are switched. Helen's playing the hero role and Bob's, home raising the kids and being dad.
And then many, heavy, Incredibles 2 fans were like, that's it?
Yeah, I mean, I think we discussed long before the movie actually even came out, when they said they were doing Incredibles 2, we were hoping there was going to be a time jump.
But
it would take place, 5, 10, however many years down the road. But no, it picks up immediately where the first movie ends, which is not a horrible idea. And I will say, I think the opening scene for Incredibles 2 is really, really well done.
Yeah, even though they have to really... Let's discuss some of the problems with Incredibles 2. Obviously, we already mentioned, it picks up right after the first movie, which on paper it doesn't really sound that bad, but considering the opening scene of the first Incredibles took us in it almost felt like a prequel for a second. Then it kind of takes place 15 years later, and we were hoping to get something like that for this movie.
Yeah.
But no. Just no.
No. I mean, I think...
Which kind of sucked.
My biggest gripe about this movie is the villain.
Alright. Look, I don't think Evelyn Dever doesn't sound that bad on paper. I mean, I do like the idea that two siblings experience the same horrible fate with different ideologies. One, Winston Dever, which is... Shit, what was that guy's name again who voiced him?
Oh, Bob Odenkirk.
Bob Odenkirk?
Yes.
Wants to make supers legal again. And because...
She basically blames supers for her parents dying.
Which, okay. The problem, they had to make it a twist villain. If they revealed her, as the villain, it wouldn't really change much. Yeah. They just want us to go, hey, try and guess who the villain is. Come on.
And so, what was the big takeaway from her plan? Was it she wanted to make it so superheroes weren't legal again?
To be honest, she's probably one of the worst Pixar villains ever.
Yeah.
That's not even a hot take.
Yeah, no, I agree. And especially, too, the fact that she is super smart. There's no question about it. But, I feel like somebody... I don't know. I agree. I just don't think she's a great villain.
And another criticism that I feel like people really give, that Bob seems bitter about Helen taking the spot of her role, which I feel like some people would say that's a criticism, but I feel like now... it's kind of valid. Helen was always the homemaker.
Well, I don't think it was so much that he was bitter. He was just more jealous of the fact that she got to go out and play a superhero.
And now that he has to, do all the family stuff, and the fact that he kind of screwed up Violet's love relationship with Tony, it's kind of imposter syndrome, which isn't...
On a personal note, and this is just my own opinion, is you see a lot of bashing of men in movies and TV shows, and how, especially a lot of TV shows, the Homer Simpson scenario, where it's the dad's just a lovable idiot who can't do anything right, and he'd be completely lost without his wife, which, don't get me wrong, that's not entirely inaccurate, but... It just seems like it's a trope that's really kind of just, gotten out of hand. And, again, it's good, but it's they create drama in that movie just for the sake of creating drama. And
also, they kind of to like spend more time with Jack. And okay, that probably like, well, that rat fight with the raccoon was cool and all, but like,
Yeah.
what did he really do?
Yeah.
Same with Dash. Like, all his things he had to do was he had homework to do, and he called the car.
Yeah.
I feel like the only kid that kind of got away unscathed was Violet.
Yeah.
I mean,
Again, it's not a bad movie, and there's nothing really terrible about it. I would rather focus on the positive. I will say the train scene when Elastigirl is chasing the train on her motorcycle. I think that whole scene is really well done.
even though it was kind of a rehash with the first one, but it wasn't like I don't know if it wasn't really plot relevant, but it just kind of
Yeah. Again, I feel like there's some positive about it, but overall, it definitely was a letdown.
And it doesn't really help that it's kind of been announced that Incredibles 3 would probably, unfortunately, not have a time jump.
Yeah, I mean, if that's true...
Unless if they're going to tell, like, a story of how supers are illegal again, maybe it could be better. I don't know if it'll live up to the hype of the first movie, but I really hope this time that they would try to do something new.
Yeah, I just think in the end it's one of those movies that you're like, okay, and you're like, do I really want to watch another one if they make another one? You're like, okay.
You know what I would love to see?
What?
A Golden Age prequel or a Frozone or or a Frozone spinoff.
Yeah.
Like those are I feel like May fans would like to see that, especially learning the lore now.
Yeah.
Like I want to know about these supers that died during Chrono.
I mean, there's a lot of ways they could go with it and stories that they could tell, but I don't know. And you would think that it would be a popular thing to do, but I don't know. And I will say I'm a little disappointed because Brad Bird's not involved in Incredibles 3.
He's too busy on the shit.
Oh yeah, I saw. He's working on another movie, which is fine. I didn't see who is directing it. Did they announce it?
I think Peter Son. Who also directed The Good Dinosaur, the film in the next spot I'll get to in a minute.
Yeah. I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it won't.
Well, I'm really hope they don't fuck this up. Like it'll kind of be similar to Cars 2, where you would probably just skip the second one and jump straight to the third movie.
Well, like we discussed, at least Cars 2, I feel like they took a lot of chances with that movie.
I mean, what did they do with Incredibles 2?
Whereas Incredibles 2 was just, like I said at the
Same
start, just a very close retelling of the first movie, really.
Same movie, but Helen Bob swap.
Yeah.
Like it's Freaky Friday.
Yeah.
Incredibles and Pixar, just please try a little more.
Yeah.
At number 21, I think. Yeah, I think at number 21, I have Elemental, which is one of the newer Pixar movies. And guys, I'm going to be honest, I mostly really enjoy the newer stuff that Pixar has been pumping out. I feel like for some of my videos you can tell, but I actually kind of like Elemental. I mean, sure, it did kind of bomb at the box office, but I do know several people who actually like this film quite a bit. And yeah, it's good. Sure, it's another, couples don't like each other, but they do. And yeah, there are some that are just so obnoxiously bad, but I feel like this is one of those examples that works. Like, this is probably... Pixar made some phenomenal romances, but I feel like out of the 4 or 5 romances they made, this was probably the weakest by a bit. Look, it's a pretty good movie, yeah, and a really fun time. And I don't know, there really isn't really much to say about it. I think the characters are good. The world is interesting, but they didn't really do too much with it, which kind of sucked. The visuals look really good, and I do kind of like some of the world building of how the water people are first, and it was grass and air. Yeah, I liked it. Especially this is the first time that I went to see a movie just by myself. So, little story, so my family was going to see Spider-Verse, but I wasn't really too interested in that, and luckily this is like my time to see Elemental in theaters, and I thought it was good. I mean, definitely not the best Pixar movie, but I feel like it's a pretty good start. It's a pretty good movie. And it really, unfortunately, it doesn't really help that there was another Pixar film that came out like 2 months prior that was just so much better. And we'll get to that in a few more, probably like, I don't know, 50 more minutes later. But yeah, I like Elemental, and you should give it a watch. At number 20, kicking off at the number 20 spot, I have Toy Story 4. Yes, it's the weakest Toy Story movie, and yes, Lightyear included, but it doesn't mean it's a bad movie, unlike like half the people. Toy Story 4 is another Pixar film that you either really like or you really hate.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair assessment.
I think Toy Story 4 is good, and even though many people say they shouldn't end with 3, I'm like, I don't mind that they're doing more Toy Story films as long as they tell good stories.
Yeah.
Toy Story 5. I do think this is I feel like this is just felt more like a Woody movie than a Toy Story movie, because it's literally about identity, like...
Yeah. You know, it's funny because I saw a post within the last week or two saying that Toy Story, when they get away from the side characters, is when Toy Story is not at its best. So, you know, talking about like Slinky Dog, Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, all them, Buzz, Jesse. I agree. When you get away from all them, like you said, it is a very, very Woody-centric story.
I mean, I feel like it's kind of fair that he probably needs to have, like, finish off his arc. That he's done with Andy, and that Bonnie doesn't like her, even though, like, she had some interest in 3, but that was just kind of a phase.
Do you think that when they did Toy Story 5, that they should have left Woody out of it? That they basically should have ended Woody at Toy Story 4?
I mean, sure, they could not include him in 5, but I feel like many fans wouldn't find it as... trying to find the word for it.
Yeah.
Entertaining or funny.
All right, I'll say this. I think there's a lot of good stuff in Toy Story 4. So let's go over that. First of all, I love Keanu Reeves as Duke Kaboom.
Yeah, he's great, and I do like his character arc of...
Yeah. Rijan?
of trying to, like, believe himself after...
I think sometimes they cast people, especially in voice roles, just to get the biggest name that they can. But I feel like Keanu Reeves actually was the perfect fit for Duke Kaboom. Combat Carl. What can you say?
I mean, even though his first real appearance was in Toy Story of Terror, which doesn't really count on the Pixar movie list.
I like that they brought Bo back because she was a big part of Toy Story.
Warning for spoilers for Toy Story 5. I hope for Toy Story 6, I hope Woody and Bo would get married the same way that Jesse and Buzz will.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, come on. They were probably the first Toy Story couple in the franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, just watch the first film again and you'll understand.
Sure.
But back to the good
but again,
aspect.
I think there's a lot, and I do like the story. I'm still on the fence. I'm not sure how I feel about Sporky.
Forky.
I mean Forky, sorry. Sporky. Forky, I mean, I like his character, but at the same time, it's, like, was he really a character that needed to be introduced into the movie?
I mean, well, how would they get to the carnival and have all that trauma? And Gabby isn't really a villain. She's more of an antagonist who just wants a voice box.
I was going to say, I think that's actually, like, my big issue with Toy Story 4 is Gabby, because, most of the movie they set her up as the villain, and then you're just supposed to feel bad for her all of a sudden. And it's like, well, so what? That excuses all the awful things that she did?
And she's basically a ripoff of Stinky Pete's without going to Japan and all that.
So again, I think, given the last few that we've gone over, I think that if you're going to have a villain or antagonist, that they have to be well done, well written. And I just don't think Gabby is.
Isn't really.
And
a
I think
villain.
that's probably my big takeaway from that.
Another thing that, why did they make Buzz really stupid in this movie?
Yeah.
Like all his character was in that movie was just use voice box for motivation. Voice box for motivation. Like, why? Why would they? I mean, they always find, like I said in my Toy Story 5 review, they always, like, each and every every Toy Story movie, they always find some way to mix, like, do something with Buzz, kind of either stupidly or story-wise.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It kind of becomes
This
like
is
a
the
gimmick,
worst.
It's like, oh, Buzz forgets who he is, or, oh, here's all these other Buzzes, and, it does feel gimmicky at certain points.
I mean, sometimes it can be really well done, like the first two movies.
Yeah.
But this is probably the worst case out of the 5.
Yeah, and again,
6 if you count Lightyear.
I still think it's a good movie, but it seemed a little unnecessary, and it didn't.
But they kind of need to give closure to
One of the
Woody.
other things I did really like about it, though, was, where Bo lives with all the other broken toys and abandoned toys. I like that idea. I would have rather seen that really developed more.
Well, there's that. Well, that reminds me. There's actually a short film about that and how she got turned into a lost toy.
Yeah, but I think that should have been the main focus of the movie: lost toys and like how they create their own society to live in. And you could have made the villain somebody that's trying to take over that, but then again, that would have been, kind of a rehash of Toy Story 3 with Lotso,
which we'll get to later.
So overall, I think there's a lot of great things about it, but at the same time, it's similar to Incredibles 2, where it's like, was it really necessary?
I mean, sure it wasn't necessary, but for people who love Woody a lot, I feel like this will...
Yeah.
At number 19, in my opinion, the best Cars movie is Cars 3. I know, it's kind of a crazy opinion that I put Cars 3 over Toy Story 4. Am I crazy? Maybe, but not really. Yeah, in my opinion, I think of the 3 films that the Cars franchise made, I think 3 is probably the best.
Let me ask you why. What makes you say it's the best? I'm not disagreeing. I'm just curious as to why you think.
I feel like I really like how it focuses on McQueen again.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say his career goes into a big crash. Literally, in fact. That scene is still very well done.
Yes.
When everyone saw the teaser trailer, it'll be like, oh my god, another Cars movie? And then when they saw that, I'm like, oh shit, this is serious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest takeaway for me from this movie is I like how he basically becomes like the Doc Hudson character who teaches, the young racer how to race. And I think it's a really well made movie,
I
and
mean,
I I would give it probably the slight edge over Cars 1 and 2
yeah.
as the best Cars movie. I think it's really, really well done, and it's
And I like how they add Cruz to it because, like, we kind of need a character that would probably be McQueen's mentor.
yeah, and it didn't introduce like the whole idea of like the electric cars. Like that is a very real thing now in car racing, and at the time that was the future of car racing, and I do like that idea. Again, I think the racing scenes are really well done.
Especially towards the opening and ending, which is kind of similar to the first movie, but not like in a rehashed way.
Yeah, I mean, like you and I talked about, I think before though, it's like they say at the beginning he won what 7 piston cups in a row.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen a little more of Lightning McQueen at the top of his game, winning 7 piston cups.
Well, they kind of showed that as like the first scene, as like a quick little montage, and if it was like 20 minutes, that would really drag down the movie.
Yeah, no, I agree. But no, it's a very, very well made movie, and I think over the course of 3 movies, I don't think anybody could have played Lightning McQueen as good as Owen Wilson did.
Yes, and I also like how they did Mater in this. He only appeared in like 1 or 2 scenes, and like he was just there to talk McQueen out with his personal struggles.
Yeah,
That's how they should do Mater,
as they say,
and not make him into somehow the smartest character in a sequel.
as the old saying goes, Cal, less is more, and less Mater.
No more, no less.
Less is more when it comes to Mater, and the less Mater, the better it is. And Mater's not a terrible character, like I told you.
But the
When
way
we
that
did
they
Cars 2, I really like, and I probably shouldn't, but I really like Mater's tall tales.
comment below if you want me to do like a ranking of all the short little episodes, and don't forget that you were there too. So,
Wait, I was there? Yeah, don't you remember? Yeah, so as annoying as I find Mater at times, I really do like the Mater tall tales.
But that's a story for another day.
Yeah, it's a story.
I really could do a whole Mulvin Monday out of all the shorts that they made.
Yeah, because there have been some really, really good ones, and I'd love to see him go back to releasing one every time a movie came out.
Yeah, but I don't know. There might be done with the Cars craze.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I don't think you're going to see any more Cars movies.
But good God, just don't make Cars 4. I don't know if there's like any way they could
Speaking of Cars, though, have you ever seen the spin-off from Cars, Planes?
No, but I don't even. But they don't count as Pixar.
I was going to say that's technically not a Pixar movie.
No, but I don't know
It's not as bad as you think. My biggest complaint with that movie is they replaced Dave Foley with Dane Cook, and Dane Cook's just horrible.
With who?
Dane Cook was who they originally replaced, the first actor they had to play the main character in that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I really want to care for Planes. But anyways,
It's not terrible, but it's not great either.
Cars 3 is the best Cars, and I don't see many people really say it's the best Cars. Like, everyone, like, collectively agrees that Cars 1 is the best, and you really don't see many people say that 3 is the best.
Yeah.
I mean, it does kind of run similar to the Toy Story sequels
Yeah.
in some way. I'm not saying they're as good as them, but for the Cars,
There are
like,
definitely some parallels between the two.
I feel like Cars 3 is the best, and this is probably the highest 7 out of 10 movie on this list. Alright guys, now we're entering the 8 out of 10 Pixar movies, or the A tier. So we're starting to get to the above average, which these are the films that are great, but still not the best, but we're getting there. So, ironically, at number 18, I have Inside Out 2. Yeah, I'm gonna say this. It was definitely a bit of an improvement over the first one, to be honest. I mean, sure, it does kind of rehash the plot. Joy and the other emotions have to go back to headquarters because something, whatnot. And The opening narration is, uh, but yeah, I think this is an improvement. I really like how anxiety was handled, especially towards the ending. I feel like anyone will say that. I really like the journey as well as much more from Joyce crashing out to the fucking brainstorming that Priya Future Careers. That just always stuck out to me. I was like, wow, that was cool. I also like how some of the other emotions like fear, disgust, and anger get more time in the spotlight, which is really nice. And what else? I Scenes with Pouchy is great, especially that this is one of the first Pixar films that are kind of starting to change up their style, which is great. Yeah, I really enjoy Inside. I really do enjoy Inside Out 2 a lot. A bit more than the first one. I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece per se, but yeah, I think it's better. And I would recommend any Inside Out fan who hasn't seen this one, definitely give this one a watch. At number 17, and I don't know if this might be a hot take, but I think it's Elio. Yeah, I think most of my review on it, which is really just not there, I do really like El. I mean, sure, it's definitely not the best film. Hell, maybe not even the best film of this decade, but it's good. I do really like Elio's character arc of how he tries to fit in. I feel like many of us will relate to. And same with Gordon, he doesn't want to go through the same path with his father, which is great. I just really like a good old Pixar sci-fi adventure. This is what it is. It's definitely not the best. Hell, this is probably the weakest out of these four. But this is a really solid one, and I don't know what else to say. I just think the animation was pretty vibrant, even though they kind of like reused that beam mouth character design thing. I know people were getting really tired of it, but I was like, I don't know. I don't get the appeal. It was only used for like a few films, and I don't know. I just thought Elio was just a really pretty underrated Pixar film, and I feel like I hope many of us would find to think that. I know there's some Elio fans out there here and there, get it, but I don't know. I just don't see it as ranked as some of the more slightly better films during this time. Definitely give it a watch. At number 16, I have Soul. Soul, and this is not really a bit of a hot take. This is probably, without a doubt, Pixar's most mature movie that they have ever made. Even the ones from Brad Bird, probably more. Because it's literally about a movie about life. Like, if Coco is a movie about death, then Soul is a movie about life. And yeah, it kind of really shows that life may not be like perfect as you plan it out. Like, yeah, I mean, sometimes life sucks, and I mean, yeah, like, look who's running this country. And this is just a really mature film, and I feel like many people do really like this film, and there really isn't much to say about it. The themes are really great. The Joe's character arc is good, and TFA was his character was pretty alright. I don't know really isn't much to say, but I'm really glad I rewatched this film like a few months ago just so I could do this ranking. Yeah, I'm not seeing every Pixar film ever made. Doing this ranking, but I had to make sure I had to see a few more. And the empathy score is just phenomenal. It's probably one of their best. Probably that alone is probably one of the best Pixar or scores. And Another group of people I would recommend to is people who like jazz. And that's all I gotta say. Soul is great. It does have a few issues, like the whole plot of the cat body switch thing and whatnot. But yeah, I think Soul is great. It was a good reminder. It was a pretty good start beside for this decade, if Onward excluded. And yeah, that's really all I gotta say. Moving on. And at number 15, I have, oh boy, this is gonna hurt, Ratatouille. I know. If you told anyone, like, what is one of your top favorite Pixar films? Many people, I feel like most of the world would say Ratatouille is one of the best Pixar films. And me, I do kind of see it, but not really. It's still a pretty great movie. It's just like, do you ever have like one of those films that you do really like and give it like a nice 8 out of 10, but you kind of think it's a little overhyped?
Yeah.
Ratatouille is kind of that film that defines it for me.
I mean, I think my only issue with this movie, and I do love Ratatouille. I think it's great. I think it's got some of the funniest scenes ever.
From Pixar?
From Pixar. But I think it's one of those ones that's like I watched it too many times over the years, and now when I see it, I'm just like, yeah, okay.
I feel like I do have some nitpicks with it.
All right,
First of all, and this might be a little bit of, I don't know if I mentioned this in Inside Out 1 and 2, but this is where Ratatouille is one of them. I don't like the trope of the opening ending narration by the main character. I just feel like it's just such a it's just a trope I just never really liked. And I feel like just kind of does hurt the film a little bit.
Is there any movie you think has done that trope well?
I think Horton, because it actually worked and it was kind of relevant throughout the plot because that was intentional because it was trying to capture.
But wait, I'm trying to think, who does the narration in Horton? Is it Horton?
No, it was. Oh well, you can like search it up, but
okay.
we'll wait till after.
Okay, well, there's a difference though between narration, like you have a narrator, and then you have the main character doing the narration.
Yes, that's what.
Okay, all right, yeah.
It's just a trope I just don't like, and it's just whenever like I see an animated film, I just always roll my eyes. I'm like, oh boy, this is how the movie's gonna start. Okay, Igor has that trope. Inside Out 1 and 2 have that trope. There's just a bunch of animated films that have that trope.
There's a lot of live action movies that have that too.
Yeah, it's just, like the overused tropes, like the liar reveal trope and the third act main character split up scene, like all those like overused tropes in films.
Yeah.
And Ratatouille, unfortunately, also has another one of those with, the only reason that Remy and Linguini kind of split up is because Emile couldn't stay still for one goddamn minute.
Yeah. Well, Emile's kind of an idiot.
I mean, but other than those little flaws here and there, I do see why people really like Ratatouille.
Let me ask you this. Where do you rank the soundtrack for Ratatouille?
That's tough for Michael Giacchino. I feel like...
You feel like it's some of his better work?
Well, I haven't listened to every single score he does, but this is a pretty good score. I mean, it perfectly captures, like, the feel of France and whatnot.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think
but the
score definitely elevates the movie.
Not as much as, say, Up or The Incredibles, but it's a good score.
But it is very good. Also,
it has probably enough, like Dad said earlier, it has one of the funniest scenes in all of Pixar.
Yeah.
You want to explain?
Well, when he goes into the walk-in refrigerator and he lets out his scream. I mean, that's
it's just when Remy accidentally,
it's one of my favorite screams in any movie.
just kills me every time.
I will say some of the characters in Ratatouille I really like the guy that's the head chef. The really
Skinner's funny, even though he kind of overstayed his welcome a little bit towards the third act. Like he didn't really need
but
him.
he's kind of also necessary for that movie because not that you need a villain, but I think he fills that role pretty well.
Yeah, Remy's good. He has a great character arc, and I feel like any Pixar fan will say that.
Linguini, though, I do like. Linguini's my favorite character in the movie. He's great.
But you know, I think my favorite character in the entire film is, and this is not going to be a surprise, it's probably going to be Anton Ego. I mean, he has probably the best monologue in the film.
Well, he's such a... I mean, even though his presence is large in the movie, he doesn't have many scenes. But the scenes that he has, and let's face it, too, for all the real movie buffs out there, Peter O'Toole did the voice, and Peter O'Toole's one of the greatest actors of all time. So it was great to see him pop up in that role. And it just goes to show that at that time, you know, Pixar was really pulling in a lot of really good actors. Like it's Paul Newman in Cars and... You know, and I think he fit the character perfectly.
And he also kind of had perfectly like tells like why like critics love to like critique and make fun of certain things, but as he says, like even like the worst movies ever have like some heart and love to it than our criticisms, and that really speaks volumes.
And I do just really like the message of the movie, which is anyone can cook.
Which is because the next film is kind of the opposite of that, but we'll get to later.
Yeah.
Also,
I mean, it doesn't mean everybody cooks well, but everyone can cook and should cook.
Yes.
I think that's one of the most underrated skills in life is being a good to decent chef and being able to prepare a good meal.
Yes.
It's a skill everybody should have.
Also, the scene where, and it's gonna be another scene that everyone just goes, "All right, we get it, Cal." Is the scene where where Anton Ego tries the ratatouille, and it just takes him back to his childhood. Even though it's kind of a meme, it's objectively a great scene.
Yeah, it is, and I don't think it's far from a bad movie. I think it's got some great parts to it.
But I feel like I just don't think it really cuts in the top 10 for me. I know it's a bit of a hot take because this is like many people, like if you see like a random Pixar ranking video, you're going to see someone put Ratatouille in the top 5, maybe even the top 3 in their list. And
yeah,
like,
I would imagine that most people's Pixar lists would have Ratatouille in the top 10. But I understand putting it at 15. I don't think that's really a bad idea. Now, number 14, which we'll get to in a minute, I have some serious issues with, but we'll get to that.
And at number 14, and this is, without a doubt, my dad's favorite Pixar movie of all time. He said, like, there is literally nothing that could probably out-top it. And it's Monsters University. All right, let's get this over with.
All right. Well, do you want to start or do you want me to?
You start, because it's your favorite.
I think this movie is just great on every level. I think it's better than Monsters, Inc. I love everything about it. I love the score. I love the setting. I love the idea of, and let's face it, prequels in general are usually not well done, and I think this movie is just the best.
I mean, outside the Mario and Toy Story sequels, I don't think there's like a real consensus on like what the best Pixar sequel is outside of those two. Some people would say Cars 2 or Incredibles 2. Some would like Finding Dory more. Some would like Inside Out 2 more.
But again, those are sequels, some people, whereas Monsters University is a prequel.
Or some people like Cars 3. But
it doesn't feel like, to me, Monsters University is just a setup for Monsters, Inc. It feels like it's its own story that would flow naturally into Monsters, Inc. And again, I could go on for hours about it, but I just think the movie's fantastic. The characters are great. The animation is great. Soundtrack, great.
By Randy Newman.
All the characters in it are great. Even all the side characters.
like
are
Squishy,
Squishy,
Danny.
I mean, there's so many Johnny from who's
Johnny
McCaffrey?
Worthington.
Johnny Worthington. I mean, I love Nathan Fillion, but Johnny Worthington is by far one of my favorite characters ever. It's got some of the most quotable lines in any Pixar movie. Hey, this guy hates charity.
Okay, this is one of the funniest Pixar movies.
Agreed.
Easily.
I think so. But as entertaining as it is, I think it's a great movie, and I think the message is great too.
And you know how he's
just because you want something and you work hard towards it doesn't mean you're going to get it.
And guys, I feel like I should have told you this a long time ago, but since we're talking about the message of Monsters University, I think this would just be an appropriate time to talk about. Unfortunately, I just don't think I want to do Fortnite videos anymore. It's just because I just find the game just nearly impossible to play. Like, I try so badly to be somewhat decent at the game, but one inconvenience or another, like, I just feel like I just don't think I'm not good enough. And you know what? That's fine. I try to find other ways to enjoy Fortnite. So this is one of those Pixar films that kind of take a little bit for me to resonate me a little more, and Monsters University is that. And this is probably one of the saddest Pixar message ever.
Well, it may be sad, but at the same time, it is somewhat realistic too. It's like you can want something so badly, and you can put everything you have into it. I mean, think about like professional athletes. You know, they really are the best of the best of the best. And you have to work incredibly hard to get there. And even still, there are people that are incredibly talented and gifted, and they still can't make it all the way. And there's no shame in that. And, you know, I think that's a more realistic approach to it's a good message in my opinion.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best messages in all of Pixar.
You know, and because it kind of in a way relates to society. It's, you know, everybody grows up, you know, their parents telling them, "Oh, you can do anything you want. You can be special."
So they're kind of like Cousteau.
Yes.
I mean, like anyone.
But at the end of the day, you know, there's millions upon millions of just ordinary people leading ordinary lives. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. Not everybody is special. I mean, everybody's special in their own way, but...
Which is another way of saying no one is, which we'll get to later.
We'll get to that after. So again, to me, I really like the message is just be yourself and, you know, do what you love. And I think it's great. I think it's great all the way through. And I will just add this. Hearts?
Oh my god.
Again, there's so many great quotes.
Dad could do like an entire review on this movie, and you probably wouldn't do it justice.
In a lot of ways, I could probably recite almost the entire movie.
Yeah, I mean, this is without a doubt, besides like the message, like this is probably one of the most fun Pixar movies to watch. Not that it's one of the best, but it's just, it has like a lot of fun value.
Yeah, and there's no parts to it that drag either. Like, you know, we were talking about previously Cars 1. And Cars 1 is great, but it's got like that lull kind of in the middle, and you're like, okay. And a lot of movies have that in general. But for me, Monsters University is great, start to finish. Love everything about it.
Are you disappointed this film did not win for Best Animated Feature, being beaten by Frozen?
No, that's okay, because honestly, I don't expect everybody else to love this movie as much as I do.
I mean,
I know it has a lot of fans out there,
like you.
Yep. But you know, there's a lot of people that like it. And they're like, yeah, it's okay. And there's probably even people out there that hate it and say, it's terrible. You shouldn't have made another Monsters Inc. movie.
Or the Lost in Scaradise plot. If you guys don't know what the hell I'm talking about, so basically, back in 2004, Pixar and Disney were having like a huge argument because their deal was gonna end during the time The Incredibles was released, and Disney decided to make another animation company called Circle 7 Animation, which was basically just doing sequels for Pixar.
Yeah.
Like those really bad straight to VHS Disney sequels.
Yeah.
So
Is that where Planes came in?
Kinda.
Okay.
So the original like sequel to Monsters Inc. was Mike and Sully are trying to celebrate Boo's birthday, but when they enter a door, they find an old lady and then they get lost to the human world.
Yeah. Yeah. And on a side note, I will add too, Mike's New Car is one of my favorite Pixar shorts.
Yeah. Comment below if you want us to do a whole ranking of all the Pixar shorts, and it's gonna be one hell of a chore.
So
But
I'm not mad that you have it at number 14.
Like you said, there's people who really love it. Some people just say it's just good.
Yeah.
I feel like after Rad 2, we're starting to get to the Pixar films that are just pure really enjoyable.
Agreed.
And while Monsters University can't beat our next spot, which is at number 13 and just is Monsters Inc. I know I put it just above the original to University, but Monsters Inc. is just great. I mean, there's really not much I could really say about it. This is probably the funniest Pixar movies, one of their most creative franchises. Sully and Boo has one of the best friendships in all of Pixar. Randall and Waternoose are great villains and twist villains with believable motivations, and their actions are just unhatingness. What would you say about the first Monsters Inc.?
I love it. I will put it just ever so slightly behind Monsters University.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, it's
the new best?
No, I wouldn't say that per se, but it is a really, really good movie, start to finish. And again, I can't say enough about it. It's the Monsters movies are just, to me, pure entertainment. Just great. And
oh yeah, and how can you get great casting with Billy Crystal, who could have been the original voice of Buzz that he originally had rejected, but after he saw the first Toy Story movie, he regrets saying no ever since. So back in 2000 or 2001, Pixar offered him, how about you be this green ball character? And
I think he fits it perfectly. And I think John Goodman and John Goodman's done so many voice acting roles over the years.
We talked about one of his films, which is B Movie, even though it's more of a Jerry Seinfeld, but hey, John Goodman was in this movie, so it counts.
But I think John Goodman is absolutely perftly cast as
Sully. Or James P.
James
Sullivan.
P. Sullivan. I think Steve Buscemi is
great as Randall.
Is awesome as Randall.
And you believe it more for the rivalry with Mike and University. It makes Monsters Inc. better.
Yeah, and I think that's a nice little twist too in Monsters University, how they start out as friends and roommates, and then as the movie goes on and on and on, you can see where the animosity comes from and the jealousy.
You turned her against me!
Exactly. So it's just, I think the biggest compliment I can pay is that Monsters University and Monsters Inc., if you played them together, feel like just one long movie. That's, I think, what makes them so great. I love them both.
All right. And at number 12? At number 12, which is many people's favorite Toy Story movie, Toy Story 3.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what the franchise was building up to. Even though it's the weakest of the three Toy Stories, Toy Story 3 is great, and it's on par with the first movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, As we kind of talked about off camera before, Toy Story 2 is probably the best of the Toy Story movies. There's no question about it. It's just a masterpiece, start to finish. But Toy Story 3 is probably my favorite. And I think a lot of that has to do with it has one of my favorite Pixar characters of all time.
Who is
Ken.
Played by Michael Keaton.
Voiced by Michael Keaton. And, I mean, let's face it, Michael Keaton can do any animated voice he wants.
Hell, he's even Porco Rosso in Porco Rosso. Comment below if you want me us to review that movie.
It's not just because of Michael Keaton, but I think he's just such a great addition. Ned Beatty.
I'm not a girl's toy.
I told you that. Ned Beatty is also phenomenal as Lotso. I think he was absolutely
all right. Let's get this out of the way. Lotso is top 3 Pixar villains of all time,
without question.
I mean, he just had a similar backstory to Woody in the first movie. He was bitter and jealous, all because Daisy accidentally left her behind, and it took forever to get back home. And then when he came back home, another Lotso there. I mean, you can't just feel like they don't like use it like as a way to make him feel bad for him. It's just a way to explain his actions. It's heinous.
There's an old saying, and I think you and I have talked about this before in movies, that a really good villain in a movie believes he's actually the hero to his own story.
Which we discussed.
We've gone over that before. Lex Luthor being
probably,
I think, my favorite example of that. But Lotso, it's like, he was really kind of given a raw deal, but at the same time, he runs Sunnyside the way he feels like it should be run. So like you feel bad for him a little bit, but at the same time, you're like, man, what an asshole.
I mean, the fact that he changed Buzz and turned him into his own team over his friends, over all the innocent toys, it's just, he turned this daycare and turned Sunnyside into a prison. And let's not forget, the prison break scene is one of the best Toy Story scenes ever.
Oh, I completely agree. I always when I get to the point in the movie when they're at the very end and they're about to go in the incinerator, and Lotso climbs up the ladder.
Just push it!
And he's got 2 options. He can push it and stop the machine and save the rest of the toys, or he just runs off and leaves them basically to die. And I think that's what makes Lotso such a great villain.
Where's your kid now, Sheriff?
Because I think everything leading up to that, and when you're watching that, you're like, okay, Lotso's going to save them. They become friends at the end, and you're like, nope, they just double down on Lotso being evil, and it's like, I don't care if you guys die or not.
And which is one of the most emotional scenes in all Pixar. And it's not even it leads to 2 emotional scenes, which we'll get to later. I feel like if there was anything I had to nitpick about Toy Story 3, I just think Lotso just got away way too easily. He kind of deserved to get ripped or die.
Well, did he though? Because they strap him to that truck at the end, and that's going to be the rest of his life, is having bugs fly in his face while picking up garbage every day. Huh?
I wouldn't say
he
got away
too easy.
I feel like for a villain defeat, that's kind of a little disappointing.
I mean, I guess the best revenge against Lotso would have been having him go back to Sunnyside and have all the young kids tear him apart. I don't know.
That's how they should have.
I mean, that's kind of dark, but.
I mean, come on. That incinerator scene was already dark enough. I mean, come on. Yeah. Can we?
I mean, how many people, I wonder, too, the very first time they ever watched that, they're like, oh, wow, they really are going to die, and this is going to be the end of the Toy Story franchise.
Yes, and I know it's been beaten to death. They shouldn't end with 3.
Yeah, they should have, but at the same time, I think 4 is great. I still have yet to watch 5 with you, which you have nothing but good praise for it. So if you can keep making good movies, keep going.
I feel like maybe they should probably stop at 6.
Yeah, probably. I mean, let's face it, the voice cast is just getting older and older.
I mean, hell, even Slinky Dog, like hell, even Slinky Dog in 3 had to get replaced because Jim Varney passed away.
Well, not to mention too, Don Rickles is dead as Mr. Potato Head. Estelle, oh god, I can't think of her last name. Is Mrs. Potato Head? She's passed. You know, there's just very few of them.
I mean, sure, you have Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Joan Cusack, and Keanu Reeves, and
Wait, was Duke Kaboom in 5?
spoiler warnings, but only for little cameos.
Okay. Oh, and all right, we'll save that for another one. But
yeah, Toy Story 3 is great, and it's a really nice way to wrap up the Andy trilogy, as I would call the first 3 movies.
and it's got some really quotable lines in it too.
Yes. You want to get out of here?
You gotta get that monkey.
The monkey is unironically one of the best Pixar villains. Like, he's actually so intimidating.
Yeah,
Like,
well, how is it a little baby doll? To me, a little baby doll can be so terrifying.
well, how could an evil, like a purple teddy bear could be so evil?
Because he smells like strawberries?
I don't know. I just...
I don't know.
And you know what's weird? This is the first memory I have with any of the Toy Story movies. This is probably the first Toy Story movie I can remember when I was very young, which I know it kind of, in retrospect, I feel like you should have introduced me to the first, then the second, then the third, but I don't know what you guys were thinking.
Hey, don't blame us.
I'm not trying to...
We responded to the movies that you responded to.
Okay.
It's not like I was purposely withholding it from you. Like, oh, I'm not going to show you these in order.
No, it's like, I guess it's kind of like starting with A New Hope instead of like starting with Phantom Menace. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
like, if you like,
and yeah, I agree. I'm sorry. If I could go back and do it all over again, I'd show them to you in order. Okay.
But hey, it's like the old saying: you can't change the past.
No. But again, just to reiterate, I think Toy Story 2 is the best of the Toy Story franchise, but 3 will always be my favorite.
I feel like out of the 3 Toy Stories, this is probably the one I'm the most nostalgic to.
And it's, I view it kind of like Monsters University, where it's just a lot of fun.
Even if it's kind of the most mature Toy Story.
It's got some definitely mature themes in it. But I just think it's great. I really do. I think it's really...
And also the final scene with So Long Partner was great.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all we gotta say about Toy Story, and we're slowly getting into the top 10.
Yeah, we're getting closer and closer.
At number 11, I have the first of the 3 new films from Pixar from 2026 is Hoppers. I know, I already made a review on this movie, 4 months ago? Damn, that was long. And I feel like everything me and my mom said about that video, I mean, there's really not much we could say about Hoppers after that video.
Yeah, after that review.
Yeah, it's the story was good. The message was a little obvious, but it wasn't on the nose or anything. And Tom the Lizard, and this is without a doubt one of the funniest Pixar movies ever.
Yeah, the incorporation of technology as a present day film was pretty fun. It was
Yes.
fun with technology.
I mean, not as good as some Pixar film that came out 18 years prior, but this is a really good one. And Tom the Lizard is the best. And that's all you really gotta say. Guys, kicking off the top 10, I have Coco. And sorry, I forgot to tell you that my mom was in our previous film, which is Hoppers, and that she was there and she didn't have much to say about it. But this is her second favorite Pixar film behind Wall-E.
Yeah. It is Coco. I do love some Coco. It's got the great music in it.
Done
It's
by
done by
Michael Giacchino, mostly.
and it's got great themes
About death
and family.
and family.
Yeah, I mean, family is really the bigger theme in that movie. But yeah, it's got a lot of great things in it. Ernesto de la Cruz.
Oh, okay. We need to stop for a second. Ernesto de la Cruz is definitely a top 10 Pixar villain, for sure. I mean, he was a twist villain during a time where twist villains were not very good for Disney. But this was one of the few great twist villains that was just...
Bravo, yeah.
Like, he did one evil thing like a century ago, poisoning his best friend and stealing his music. And Hector just wanted to get back home to see Coco. That's all he wanted to do. But this bitch poisoned him and is like, I'm gonna steal your songs and I'll become famous. And that's how, like, the family had a hatred for music. I mean, he's great. The only thing I don't like about Ernesto de la Cruz in the film is why couldn't he just tear up the photo of Hector? I mean, it was the easiest thing to do ever. What was your problem? That's something I just don't get in Coco.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter in the end anyway, because the grandma Coco has the top half of the picture anyway.
I mean, yeah, but still, it's just a little bizarre in that moment. I mean, let's not forget, it has one of the most emotional endings to any Pixar movie ever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
it's quite lovely. It's a great movie.
Yeah, I think Mom could go on and on how much she loves Coco.
Yeah. Plus, I love the spirit dog. What's the spirit
Dante.
dog? Dante. Yes. I couldn't think of his name for a second there. Yeah, I love Dante.
Yeah, I mean, I always really liked Coco. It was mostly always in my top 10 Pixar films.
Yeah, even the supporting characters like the aunts and the uncles, and yeah, they're pretty funny.
You choke on a chorizo.
Oh yeah, like, and then the like the famous lady that's like, and from the ashes a papaya. She's got the one eyebrow. She's supposed to be like I forget the lady's name, but she's supposed to be like this famous person that was like a singer in the South America.
Yeah, I mean, also, Coco's grandma with the no music thing is kind of funny. That's a gag that me and my brothers always like. Yeah, I mean, there's really not much to say about Coco. Many Pixar fans say it's one of the best films of the most recent years, and you know what? I totally agree. This is definitely one of their best films in quite some time, and it definitely deserved its win for Best Animated Feature, even though it wasn't my favorite. It definitely deserved its win over Cars 3 and The Boss Baby. Alright, moving on. And at number 9, we got our latest Pixar movie, Toy Story 5. I know. 6, technically 5 or 6 if you count Lightyear. There's 6 of these movies. It's insane. And yet this one is great, surprisingly.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
I mean, like Hoppers, me and my mom already did a review on this movie, and there really wasn't much we could say about it. It has a great message. And once again, the animation.
Yeah, very good. Very good with that new style that's like Puss in Boots.
Or Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I mean, I like to think of Puss in Boots more, but...
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you want to see us go another 20 minutes rambling about this movie, I would highly recommend watching that. And
Yeah, to get the details and the ins and outs. But yeah, just overall, again, with the technology theme,
yes.
very good. Very good message.
And you know what? I wouldn't mind if they do a Toy Story 6 to end off Bonnie's trilogy.
Yeah, just like the way it was with the Andes trilogy.
And at number 8, we have the one that started it all. The OG Toy Story. I mean, it really is saying a lot. Like, I know, like, most of my, like, choices for, like, these rankings, like, they're just kind of, in my opinion, like, subjectively. But I think Toy Story being in the top 10, I think it's objective because this was, like, the greatest, like, animated movie of its time back in 1995. Everyone was like,
Yeah, it was a big thing.
a big the first 3D movie ever? Like, that sounds impossible. But yeah, Pixar did it. Like, I have so much respect for Toy Story. Even just not that alone, I think it's a very good start to this franchise. I mean, it has the most iconic things about Toy Story. You got Friend and Me, the Woody and Buzz character arc, and just
all the supporting characters that really, I mean, for supporting characters, it's like people grow to love them and have their favorites out of them, So
yes.
they're pretty. I don't even know if you would just call them supporting when they're that ingrained in people.
And I also still have fondness when me, you, and Miss Anderson and his husband.
Her husband.
Yeah, her husband saw this for its 30th anniversary re-release, and that was one of my favorite movie experiences of that year. And
yeah, that was a really good time.
Jeez, I can't believe that was like nearly a year ago.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it's also her favorite Pixar film, and you know what? I could see why it's a fan favorite for many, because without Toy Story, there probably would be no other Pixar films.
It's the daddy.
Yeah,
Daddy
literally.
is the franchise.
It's the great grandfather that literally started. And I feel like Toy Story, in my opinion, is probably the Pixar film that just kind of like sums up like their whole studio. Like, if I had like a kid who's just starting to get new to Pixar and try to get like an idea of what to expect from this studio and like all their output, I just feel like Toy Story 1 would just be the perfect sum up for the studio if you think about it, because it literally deals with a super creative concept, great animation, even though it kind of looks ugly, but hey, it's 1995. I mean...
Yeah, we're talking 30 years ago.
30 years ago, so like, come on, let's just give it some slack. I know that's like a criticize but that some people would give, but like, they should understand that. And it has some great characters, some of the most iconic Pixar characters ever made, and it just has the most iconic set pieces, Pizza Planet, Andy's room, especially that blue sky wall cloud paper.
Oh, yeah.
That is just...
Yeah, like that basically starts the whole thing.
Yeah, and... Also, let's not forget, it also started the ever so iconic that many Pixar fans, including me, ourselves, also love, and that's the Pixar Easter eggs. You know, the A113, the Pixar ball, and who could forget the Pizza Planet truck?
Yeah, that's
like
the big one.
I just feel like Toy Story is just basically Pixar in a nutshell.
That's a very good summation.
And just being their first movie is just great. Even though it's not my favorite, it's still a really high 8 out of 10. I could give it a 9 on a good day.
So is this in the A tier or the S tier? No, this
just
is
the
the
top
A.
of A tier.
Yeah, top of A tier. Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, this is probably the Pixar film I have the most respect for, and I of course have to put it in the top 10 spot. And if you haven't seen Toy Story, what the hell are you doing? Alright guys, we finally made it. We finally making it to the S tier Pixar movies. Some of the best of the best. If anyone told me like any of these sevens was like the best Pixar movie or their favorite, I would totally agree.
What does S stand for in S tier?
Super great.
Okay.
Or so I don't know.
No. I've seen it a bunch of times. I was never sure what the S actually stood for.
Yeah, and like the A tier is not like A plus and like a school grade.
Yeah.
Alright. At number 7, and oh boy, this is gonna be a bit of a hot take. At number 7, I have Lightyear. Look, I know this is probably the biggest hot take besides Nemo being the worst, but unlike Nemo, I'm just not apologetic, and I don't know why. I love Lightyear for a really strange reason.
Well, let's hear it. Why do you like it so much?
All right.
Because I'm truth be told, we're gonna disagree a little on this one. You and I went and saw Lightyear together.
All right.
And I thought it was good, but honestly, to me, it was pretty forgettable. I don't really remember a ton about it. It was entertaining. I did like it, but
All right, so to give you a backstory.
That's my take on it.
To give you so a little backstory. This is the first, not only Pixar movie, but the first movie we saw for the first time in 2 years, because the last movie we saw was the original Sonic, and during that time, COVID was becoming a huge issue.
True.
And like, so Onward was like the last Pixar movie to be released right about that same time in theaters, and picked films like Soul, Luca, and Turning Red, they all went to Disney Plus instead of going to theaters.
Yes.
And Lightyear was the first Pixar movie to return back to theaters. So I just kind of, just being like that, I just hold a lot of value to it, because while we were watching this movie, I was like, damn, I forgot how great being in the movie theaters was.
Yes.
I just had a really fun time. It's kind of like, so basically it's like a little nostalgic bias. Like
Well, before we get, as we get into it, I will say, the thing I like the most about Lightyear is how when he keeps going on his missions, it's such a time, the time dilation, for him, he's not gone that long, but when he comes back, he's gone for years.
Even though many people say it's a rip-off of Interstellar, but like...
it kind of is, but at the same time, it's one of the rare movies that shows, the effects of...
The consequences.
The consequences and the effects of traveling through space.
I would probably admit Interstellar might be a better movie, even though I probably haven't seen it. Everyone knows that there are 2 cents on Interstellar.
Yeah, I think Interstellar is a very well-made movie, but I still don't think it's one of Christopher Nolan's best.
But that's a story for another day.
Yeah, we'll save that.
All right, so back to the Year of Light. I think another thing I really like is how cinematic and grand scale it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a sucker whenever Pixar does a sci-fi adventure, and this won't be even the second to last. And oh boy, there's 2 more Pixar space movies we gotta talk about that are actually the best of the best,
yes.
And we'll get to that later.
What do you think the general reception was for Lightyear?
If you look at Rotten Tomatoes, it doesn't look that bad. It's just mostly 75% for both critics and audiences. But whenever I see Pixar rankings, Lightyear's usually on the bottom spot. I'm not apologetic. I just don't I don't know why people don't I don't know why people hate Lightyear so much. It's just a simple...
Do you think people would have liked it a little bit more if Tim Allen had actually done the voice of Buzz?
look,
And I understand that the whole idea that the toy character Buzz is supposed to be based off of this movie.
I'm gonna be real with you, Chief. I really wouldn't say Tim Allen wouldn't really fit the role. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like his voice in this just wouldn't really fit like the tone of the.
No, I mean I think
movies.
Chris Evans was a good choice, but I just wonder, would it have been received a little bit better had Tim Allen done the voice?
I don't know. I also look. I know this movie's not perfect. I mean, Zurg is probably one of the most forgettable and pretty dumb villains in all of Pixar. It's just, I feel like he has a good concept, but the execution was not well. Even though I will admit it's not perfect. I also just really love the settings and like the score of the movie. I mean, Michael Giacchino once again kills it in any Pixar score. Yeah. And I just really love like the third act and the climax. You know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah. I do. And again, I think it's a really solid movie. I mean, if I was to do a ranking, I don't know if it would be in my top 10, but this is your list.
Look, I'm honestly willing to look past most of its...
No, it's okay. Like I said, this is your list. You do what you want with it. I'm just here to provide...
I just have a lot of fondness for Lightyear. It's not number one for me, but it's more top 10. I don't think it cuts in the top 5.
Okay. No, I think that's fair.
This is, if you ask me, like, what's the most underrated Pixar movie ever, I'm going to say it's Lightyear.
Okay.
Probably even more than Monsters University. Oh boy, I think I might have triggered you.
No, that's okay. We discussed Monsters University in depth, so.
I just see it as a super fun sci-fi adventure with a unique style. And I don't mind if it has Buzz Lightyear in it.
No, I
just think it's just tonally different, and it's just kind of a nice change of pace to the Toy Story films we got before.
I mean, I really like the idea behind it that, Buzz is such a big character in Toy Story that, that was based on a real thing. Just like, let's face it, Woody,
he's probably based off
the toys from the old TV show. So I think that's great. I think it's really good. I'm not going to argue with it being in the spot that it's in.
Yeah, even though it cannot be topped with our next spot, which is number 6. Just, in my opinion, the best Toy Story is Toy Story 2. I think the only reason why I put this slightly above Lightyear, I just think it's just a much better movie overall. But Toy Story 2 is an amazing sequel.
Yes, I couldn't agree more.
This is my favorite Toy Story.
It really, really expanded on the Toy Story universe, and, I think the biggest compliment, and most people would agree, is that every single character has an important part in that movie.
Well, don't people praise that more in 3? Because there were definitely a few side characters that they got.
Yeah, but I mean, I look at the new characters they introduced. It's I think Jesse, is a great character. The Prospector is Bullseye.
Well, so let's kind of just go through each character in one.
Okay.
Jessie is great. Her backstory still traumatizes a lot of adults who. I think I can safely say the trope that Pixar movies make adults cry, that we all know, kind of started here. I feel like there were a lot of Pixar trends that kind of started with Toy Story 2.
Yeah.
And speaking of another trend that Pixar always loves to do, Stinky Pete is the first twist villain. And even though he's not as good as Lotso, obviously, he's a pretty good villain. I mean, he's basically what Gabby wanted to be.
Yeah, and the best villains in any movies, you may not agree with their methods or how they do things, but you at least understand their motivations. And Stinky Pete's is very, very clear, and you get it. You're not saying oh, okay, well, it's all right what he does, but you understand why he's doing what he's doing.
Because, like, he never got played with because Sputnik. Once the astronauts went up, children only wanted to play with space toys.
True. And, you know, Stinky
And
Pete...
it's a good reflection to, like, Woody's arc.
And Stinky Pete also, you know, I mean, he wants what's best for him, and not just him, but Jesse and
Bullseye
and
Woody.
And Bullseye, and he really thinks he's doing the right thing.
Even though, like, his methods are just kind of...
They are. And I will say, I mean, with most Pixar movies, the voice casting is really spot on. I think Joan Cusack was a great choice for Jesse. I mean, Kelsey Grammer.
Wait, who is Kelsey Grammer?
Stinky Pete.
Huh.
You know, yeah, Sideshow Bob.
No fucking kidding.
Yes. Kelsey Grammer is phenomenal. I mean, he does great voice work. He does great lot. I mean, Kelsey Grammer, I think, is very, very underrated.
I feel like Woody is the best, like, in all these movies. Like, his personality and, like, the arc he goes through is so interesting, and it perfectly continues the themes of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his arm almost got ripped, which kind of personally connects to me because I have a lot of arm problems.
Yeah.
But if his arm is ripped, like, he probably won't be loved as much as a toy, and it kind of leads him to get fixed by the cleaner. And we shouldn't get started on the scene where
that is a great scene.
it's like everyone knows about it. It's so satisfying. The music is iconic. Dusting, like, you know, all those, like, YouTube fixing ASMR videos.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a sucker for those.
That movie started those YouTube, like.
Yeah.
What else? I also really love the Buzz and the side character side plot.
Would you say though? I mean, wouldn't you say Al is actually the bigger villain than Stinky Pete though?
No.
I mean, he steals the toys basically from the yard sale.
Well, only Woody.
Well, Woody, but I mean, he basically steals Woody. And then, you know, I mean, I think honestly in that movie, Al's the bigger villain than Stinky Pete. But...
I mean, you could say Al's technically the real villain, but until, like, the last act of the movie.
Wayne Knight, Newman from Seinfeld, is just great as Al.
And he kind of perfectly fit his character.
He did. I love how they kind of made him physically look like Wayne Knight, too.
I mean, which was intentional. Let's not forget, this movie nearly not only got rewritten, and it was almost going to be going on direct-to-video instead of to theaters, but the film nearly got deleted. Like, Toy Story 2 went through an insane trouble production history.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And most movies, when they ever have trouble productions, like Brave or A Good Dinosaur, it's not really received that well.
Yeah.
Or Solo, a Star Wars story.
And the end result is usually not a great movie.
But luckily, Toy Story 2 is one of those rare examples where it somehow is really great.
Yeah. Do you ever, on a side note, have you ever listened to the Critical Drinkers series that he has called Production Hell?
Maybe.
No, maybe if somebody sends this to him, he can do one on Toy Story 2. That would be great.
Wait, did one?
Not for Toy Story 2, but he's done a bunch of others that are really, really good. Anyways, back to Toy Story 2. Yeah, I mean, I would still say probably Toy Story 3 is my favorite, but I will never argue the fact that Toy Story 2 is actually probably the better movie.
Yeah, I mean, this alongside Shrek 2 and another Pixar sequel we'll get to are my top 3 favorite movie sequels of all time. And this doesn't prove it enough. Toy Story 2 references Jurassic Park and Star Wars. Yeah. Oh yeah, and Zurg was there.
Yeah, it's got it grabs you right from the start. The opening scene is
The opening scene is probably the best opening in any Toy Story movie.
I actually do like Toy Story. The opening Toy Story 3 slightly more than Toy Story 2, but
Well, keep in mind, the Buzz opening scene just is basically Star Wars fans' paradise.
Yeah.
And we all know how much you love Star Wars.
I do. But yeah, Toy Story 2, I mean, to me, is a flawless movie. And
it should definitely be in the conversation to be. And it should definitely be in the conversation to be in the top 10. Oh. Maybe top 5.
Without question. I think that if most anybody was putting a list together, that Toy Story 2 is almost always going to be in the top 10.
And you know something? Sometimes there really isn't like a real consensus on what the best Toy Story is. You kind of mostly fall in 3 camps. You either like the first one more, the third one more, or me, the second one the most. And maybe there may be a few weirdos who like Lightyear 4 or 5 the most.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that's just a testament to how good the Toy Story movies are, that, there is no clear best out of all of them.
The first three just kind of blends together in the general public.
Okay.
It's just basically, which one do you like the most? Question. Because we're going to refer to Star Wars again. The best of the 3 of the original trilogy, like, everyone's going to say Empire Strikes Back is the best.
Yeah.
The prequels, Revenge of the Sith, and the sequel trilogy, Force Awakens.
We're not going to talk about the sequels, but yeah, it would have to be Force Awakens. But yeah, it's and in Toy Story, I don't think it's really that clear cut.
So yeah, now finally, guys, our next spot. Now the next 5 are like the top 5 favorite Pixar movies of all time. These are the Pixar films that just made me fall in love with the studio for years and years and years to come. Like, if you put any of these movies, like, as your number 1, I can 100% agree. Hey guys, we finally made it to the top 5. And honestly, you can make an argument that any of these in the top 5, like, could be anyone's favorite Pixar movie. If, like, anyone told me off the streets that one of these was the best, I would say, I strongly agree. At number 5, I have WALL-E. I mean, come on, man. You know who's gonna be in the top 5. And it holds a really special place in my heart because it was my first memory being in a movie theater.
Even though you don't really remember it.
Yes, but this was But you
were sitting on my lap watching it the whole movie.
Yes, and it's my mom's favorite Pixar movie of all time, and...
Yeah, you're joined by your mom and dad, right? And to tell the people that?
Yeah.
Or who cares?
No, what makes WALL-E the best Pixar film in your opinion, Mom?
Well, I mean, I really obviously have I like the theme of it. I like the idea of it.
What theme?
That you shouldn't be trashing the earth, basically.
I mean, at least it did a much better message than whatever Happy Feet could do.
Yeah, so I mean, I really like that theme. And then obviously there's the love theme too, which is really nice.
And this is probably like Pixar's best full attempt at a romance story. And just being that, and they're like 2 robots that only speak like a few words. It's just how could they even do it?
Yeah, they did a really great job though portraying the way that they felt about each other.
And this is kind of one of the most unique animated films ever. You just don't like see like this like tonally, visually, and scriptly. Like you just don't see animated films do that, especially during this time.
Well, and the love story is pretty much done all without words too.
Yeah,
And
except for a
that's-
few.
Yeah, but I mean I think that's the best part of it. It doesn't feel forced. It feels natural.
And it has 3 great fake out deaths that don't feel cheap.
No, they don't.
And I don't know what the consideration of the best Pixar ending like that many fans say, but all I heard is that usually Toy Story 3 and Coco are usually the front runners in that conversation. But for me, WALL-E and another Pixar film are tied with probably my favorite ending to any Pixar movie. Where WALL-E's a memory nearly got erased and Saved by Eve's kiss, like, it's just so well done. No notes. And just ending off with, it only takes a moment, and Put On Your Sunday Clothes was actually a perfect fit for this film, ironically.
No, I mean personally, I think it's a flawless movie. You could watch it 1,000 times, and it's just as good as the first time you watched it.
You never get tired of it. And this was I'm really glad this was my first Pixar movie I have ever saw.
Well, like Mom said too, I mean, I think it's a cautionary tale because we are slowly killing the planet, and if we keep going the way we are, we're probably going to have to do what they did in that movie, which is just and ironically enough, the theme of corporatism and how one giant corporation ruined the entire planet.
Is Disney.
Well, I wouldn't say it's Disney, but it could be Disney eventually. It's kind of scary to think, and I can't help but wonder at the end, especially in the post-credits, in the credits, when they show them starting to rebuild the Earth, it's like, will they actually learn their lesson this time, or will history repeat itself again eventually?
If only if we got the ending where all the humans are skeletons. I mean, this is just one of those like pitch perfect movies that I just warranted all the hype it gets.
But also on a side note too, we were talking about a couple weeks ago about Happy Feet.
Yeah.
And how it's just weird at the end because like they have like real live human beings and they work that into the movie. Whereas in WALL-E, they do the cutbacks to the president and
which is played by
Fred Willard.
Fred Willard. And he was a perfect fit.
He was. And I think somehow weirdly it works perfectly in that movie because you're like, okay, they started out like this. And then after hundreds of years
they're just fat in their
But
chairs.
I don't think you could have done that in a live action, like accurately portray people to look like that. So I think it's a great mix of the two.
And I feel like Happy Feet should have just learned what they
was just terrible.
But we already talked about that movie. I mean, all right, back to the E's. WALL-E is just a masterpiece from start to finish, it's the first of the 3 Pixar films. I just truly think it absolutely 100% deserves the best animated feature winner. Does anyone agree to that WALL-E deserved to win best animated feature of 2008?
Without question.
I mean, I love Horton Hears a Who. I hold a very special place in my heart, but of course WALL-E deserve it.
Yes.
Just, if any people say animation's just for kids, just watch this movie and you will think otherwise.
The best Pixar movies all together are for everyone. It doesn't matter how old you are.
Yeah, I mean... Alright, anyway. Number 4, I have the first Mario movie. I thought for damn sure I was going to live my life once and not cry in any Pixar movie once. I didn't cry in Finding Nemo. I didn't cry at Wall-E. I didn't cry at Up. I didn't cry at Toy Story 3. I didn't cry in Inside Out. I didn't cry in Coco. No Pixar movie was going to stop me from crying. And then this movie came in. Yeah, for me, the first Mario movie is just impossible without crying once. Like, what a delightful masterpiece that Pixar brought. I feel like this was just... It's been a long time since Pixar had a true 10 out of 10 movie, like, in their library. I think the last one that they ever made a 10 out of 10 was Up, and that was like 14 years when this movie came out. Like, what a long time. What makes the first Mario movie like one of Pixar's greatest achievements?
I don't really know.
What do you think it's one of Pixar's greatest achievements?
Well, personally, for myself, I went into this movie with pretty low expectations, just because the idea of a movie based on a video game, especially a video game franchise that's been around for 40 plus years.
And the same company that made Toy Story was gonna make this.
Yeah, but even still, I myself went with pretty low expectations, and it was, again, for me, it far exceeded any expectations I had for it.
And everyone was like, damn, this is a true classic.
Yeah, and I was also hesitant too, because Chris Pratt, who I do like, has already done so many voice roles in animated movies that I was like, we're just using him, why can't we get somebody else? But I feel like Chris Pratt was really, really good as Mario. Of course, Charlie Day was great as Luigi. I mean, even Seth Rogen, who definitely in Seth Rogen overload, again, in the animated movies. Thought Seth Rogen was great. Same with Jack Black. It far exceeded any
Anya Taylor-Joy is Peach.
Yeah. It far exceeded any expectations I had for the movie, and when it was over, I was like, yeah, I want to watch it again, and I want to watch a sequel.
Yes, and I'm kind of mad at younger me. I wish this came out like, say, 2007, 2008, or 2009, like during like their prime.
The golden age.
Oh well, I guess Wall-E and Up were more important to my childhood.
But it doesn't feel like it's a movie just based on a video game. It feels like a fully realized movie that takes aspects from the game,
Dad,
and makes it part of the story.
It
Doesn't feel like cutscenes from a Mario game.
Yes. Some people don't like the movies because, like, they just say they have a really thin plot and story, and it just feels like you're just watching a bunch of references and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see why people feel that way, but sometimes you got to keep a story simple. It doesn't have to be, a complex story. It's, good versus bad, and the hero saves the day.
Yeah, I mean, just as any people got tired of just didn't like the original plot of Star Wars.
Yeah, and it's similar to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a perfect Pixar movie, and I'm really sad that this movie did not win or nominated for Best Animated Feature, because I know, like, what shouldn't be Oscar worthy or anything, but I just think in my heart it should have won. Like, it really should have won, and it should have deserved its win over Spider-Verse or The Boy and the Heron. I know they're, like, respected animes, but personally...
Yeah, but it's also the point of, like, there are certain movies, and you and I have discussed this before, there are certain movies, action movies, or, fantasy movies, that type, that no matter how good they are, they're probably never going to win the Oscar. And the only one I can come back to that has won was Return of the King, Lord of the Rings. But that was also a culmination of 3 movies that not only did well commercially, but were very well loved by everyone. you'll never see a Star Wars movie or a Marvel movie ever win Best Picture. It's just not going to happen.
Well, Pixar got so many Oscar wins like during their years, and this felt like could have been one of them.
It could have been, but again, I think there's just a bias against video game movie that it's just probably never going to happen, no matter how good the movie is.
I mean, at least Elemental got nominated, but I was like, I don't know if I would really wanted that to win or not.
Well, we'll discuss this a little further when we get to
the second one.
Yes.
But anyways, the first Mario movie is a goddamn masterpiece, and I totally understand why many fans will rank it alongside the sequel as their best film, as Pixar's best.
Best or favorite? Remember, there's a difference.
Yes, best or favorite.
There is a difference between the two.
And there really isn't much that I could really criticize of this movie. I think the only criticisms I would really give is that sometimes I feel like the pacing felt a little too fast, and some of the pop song choices were a little cheesy here and there. But that is like the most critique I could ever say about the first Mario movie. It's just go watch it, fam. You won't regret it. And this is easily Pixar's best franchise.
It's definitely a fun watch.
Number 3, we have Pixar's version of the Fantastic Four, The Incredibles. I mean, come on, man. You know this is going to be on anyone's, favorites list for all the right reasons. Mom?
Yeah, agreed. I mean, it's pretty flawless. Great movie.
There you go.
Classic.
And this movie is so damn quotable. One of the most quotable movies in any Pixar movie.
I think it's just one of the most quotable movies of all time.
Easily. I could literally go on a talent show and just literally,
With a couple days prep, Cal, I'm pretty sure you and I could recite the entire movie word for word.
Yes. Honey, where's my super suit?
Well, that's the most obvious, but I think there's a lot more subtle lines that I personally love the most. For example, officers, ma'am.
Squeaker.
God, you've gotten fat.
Yeah,
we can recite the whole movie.
Side character.
Okay.
Quotables as well.
Alright, we'll get to that later. This is probably Pixar's darkest movie ever. I mean, face it, the opening scene, a man tries to commit suicide, but Mr. Incredible saved him. And guess what? He sued him. And don't even get me started on how many supers died in Project Chronos.
Yeah.
Gamma Jack, Universal Man.
There's a lot of death.
And Bob almost believed his entire family was killed on the plane crash.
Although I want to say, every time you and I watch it, which we watched it not too long ago, I still ask the same question every time. The guy that Bob saves from killing himself, and maybe people in the comments can answer this. The guy that Bob saves from killing himself,
Oliver Swansea.
Oliver Sansweet, then turns around and sues Bob and the government. Now my question is still, why didn't he try killing himself again after that?
Okay, that might be the only plot hole.
If he was so intent on killing himself, and even his lawyer says, you ruined his death. It's like, well, nobody's stopping you. You tried to kill yourself once. Why don't you do it again?
Well,
Is it because he just saw a giant payday from it and was like, oh, I'm going to get a ton of money from this, and now I don't have to kill myself?
Well, he probably did off screen during the 15-year time jump.
Maybe.
And we don't even know why he wanted to do it, but it's just kind of up to an interpretation.
Yeah, and again, we could do a whole podcast just on the first Incredibles movie.
I mean,
and how great it is, but it is also a reflection of society, current society, where everybody's so quick and happy to sue other people for things that happen, where superheroes are doing the right thing and trying to save people. And what do they get for it? They get sued by people because of it. And I think that's one of the most interesting aspects of that movie, and that's what forces the heroes to go underground and hide their identities from the rest of the world. But just to summarize, I mean, I think not only is it one of Pixar's best movies ever, that it's also just one of the best superhero movies.
Obviously, and one of the best family movies ever.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's easy to say that it's a ripoff of the Fantastic Four because their power sets are similar. But it's just more of an examination of a superhero family.
Yeah, I mean, and let's not forget, it probably has some of the best action scenes in all of Pixar. The first Almond Joy fight always sticks to my brain every time I watch it.
Without a doubt. And Jason Lee is
perfect for Syndrome, and
absolutely perfect. He's probably the best Pixar villain of all time.
Yeah, hands down, no question asked.
Although I don't know, I would say maybe the guy from Coco,
Ernesto de la Cruz.
Yeah, I would say maybe Ernesto.
All right,
but I would still probably put Syndrome number.
I mean, he committed genocide all because he got rejected by his idol. Like that. Like this is some dark stuff.
But like we discussed earlier in other movies, it's like a really good villain thinks he's the hero of his own story, and he thinks he's the hero. And
what he's gonna do after that, he's gonna launch his almond droid to Metroville and pretend he's a real hero.
Yeah.
And that backfires. I love how they don't fight Syndrome at the very end of the movie. Like, they have to fight the almond droid first because he fails, because his own creation beats him. Like, it's so smart.
It's like Frankenstein's monster.
And he does, like... Alright, it's time for the side characters. Frozone. This is Samuel Jackson's best performance.
Yeah. There's so many great side characters. You got Frozone, you got Edna.
And no capes, and it just perfectly foreshadows Syndrome's death, and it's just perfect.
Yeah. And Mirage, and even the henchmen that work for Syndrome are hilarious. Every time somebody screams, you take a shot.
Yeah, we could just go on and on how great the first Incredibles is, but you know something? Everyone knows that.
And the ending to it leaves you wanting more, because the Underminer appears and they all put their masks on.
But not really the way we want more of.
No, but even still, it's a great way to end it, and I think like you said, these top 5 movies are perfect. The score for it is great.
Michael Giacchino is the best composer.
I still think it's probably his best work.
Not just Pixar.
But I think probably his best work altogether.
And yeah, like this, it has a very similar tone to Ratatouille.
Yes.
But it remains committed.
Well, his score is also heavily inspired by John Barry, who
could have done the score of this movie, but
he was responsible for a lot of the James Bond scores from the 70s and 80s, even the 60s too, I believe.
And I believe Michael Kamen originally was going to do the score of this movie.
Yeah.
But during the middle of his work.
Yeah, Michael Kamen did the score for Last Action Hero.
Alright. Yeah, but in the middle of his work, he died, and so we got Michael Giacchino, the man, the myth, the legend himself.
Yep.
I mean, I think outside of the animation, like the sometimes outdated animation, I just don't think there's like any flaws I have with this movie. I mean, gun to my head, this might be my pick for Pixar's objectively best movie. But I think personally the top 2 more, I just love it just a tiny bit more than The Incredibles, and I just think just gets me a little more emotional than Incredibles. Not saying like Incredibles doesn't have like a heart or anything. It's just more action packed than. And this movie is great when it goes through people first and superheroes second.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, just go watch Incredibles, fam. You won't regret it.
I never get tired of watching it.
At number 2, I have Up. I can't believe it, guys. It has finally, for the first time in my life, finally been dethroned with another Pixar movie. For if you are fans of this channel, you knew Up is not only my favorite Pixar animated movie, it was my favorite movie ever made. Without question. Mom?
Yeah,
Up?
It's a great movie. I mean, first 10 minutes.
Alright.
Yikes.
Okay, let's get this over with. The first 10 minutes is some of the saddest stuff you ever seen in any Pixar movie.
Yeah, without question.
And it just does a much better sad opening than Finding Nemo.
No, I mean it sets the in such a short time it sets up the entire movie.
And I'm kind of sad that the rest of the film does get a little overshadowed.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's just the first 10 minutes is so great that, that's what people remember the most. But the rest of the movie is just...
Even such a young age, I knew there was something very special about this movie.
I think, to me, and this is my opinion, is Up is the quintessential Pixar movie.
I would say so. It just kind of has mostly everything you want. Like, dial it up to 11, guys.
Yeah, it's everything about it, in my opinion, is just perfect. The voice casting,
Ed
the
Hans,
visuals,
the late
Ed Asner is great. The story is great. The music is great. The visuals, the shot of the house floating above the clouds is, I think, one of the most beautiful shots in any movie I've ever seen.
Obviously, I just want to like print it and hang it up on my on one of my house walls.
Yeah,
it's like a Picasso painting.
And the story is incredibly well done.
Even though it's another one of those like family adventure movies, but just the concept of an old man using balloons and the sad opening just done so well.
I wish I could remember what movie it was I went to see in the theater, and they did the teaser for Up. And the teaser is just all the balloons coming up and the house taking off, and you're like, what kind of movie is this?
I think it was the DVD of WALL-E.
It could have been. And I remember I was just so intrigued by it. I'm like, wow, this looks awesome.
Yeah, you just don't see films like those anymore.
No, because everything needs to be spoiled now before a movie even comes out. And you just saw that and you're like, wow, what is that?
I mean...
So again, for me, it's one of those movies, there are no flaws to it at all. It's just a perfect...
It's just a perfect movie. And I'm so glad... Oh yeah, I forgot to mention... Incredibles obviously deserved its win for Best Animated Feature, even though Shrek 2 was kind of close.
Yes.
But Up obviously deserved the win. And this movie got nominated for Best Picture. You don't see... There is the only animated films that got nominated for Best Picture were Toy Story 3 and Beauty and the Beast.
What about Fantasia now?
No, I don't think it got nominated for Best Picture.
I thought it might have been.
But that is very, very rare for an animated movie to get that nomination.
Yeah. If any...
And it 100% deserved it.
If any movie ever deserved to be nominated for Best Picture, it was definitely Up.
Yes. I mean, 2009 is probably one of the best years in all of animated movies.
Yeah.
No question asked.
Yeah. But, it's one of those movies, too, that it's just perfect as it is. It doesn't need a sequel.
I really hope Disney will hear that.
If they ever tried to do a live-action version of Up, I would burn Disney to the ground.
I don't know.
No, I disagree. I just don't think it could be done.
I mean, it would be cool, but like as long as they stay faithful, like a shot for shot remake and like make it as good as 2009, maybe they can pull it off. But I don't know.
It just seems pointless. It's perfect as it is. Leave it be.
Yes, I mean, Up is one of the best things ever. I mean, it's not every day we get an animated movie this good and got nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, and again, like we said with Incredibles, like all the side characters, Doug, Kevin, the old guy. Oh my God, what's his name?
Charles Muntz.
Charles Muntz.
He's a great twist villain, and you do feel really bad for him.
He is, and again, the best villains are, usually in the best movies. The movie's as good as its villain.
I think, yeah, most of the time.
And Charles Muntz is, so blinded by his obsession with Snape that, he will do whatever he has to get it and clear his name.
Yeah, all because a bunch of people don't believe him back in the 20s or 30s.
But in the end, he was right. So, but no, 11 out of 10, I'd give that one.
Yes, but there is just one movie I just like a tiny bit more. At number one, not only the best Pixar movie, the best animated movie, but my favorite movie in general now is the Mario Galaxy movie. You guys knew it was going to be at number one. Face it. You already knew what number one is.
Oh yeah, I knew.
Yeah, there really wasn't much question about it.
I mean, I had never felt an animated movie this incredible and emotional. I'm just going to say this, guys. This is, for me, the most emotional Pixar movie of all time. I cried. Look, if you saw my review, I cried 4.5 times at this movie.
I wouldn't be bragging about it. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I already made a near hour review of this, and honestly, you know what? I want to make another video of how this film is so overlooked. Honestly, I don't get why people hate it. I don't know why. Holy shit. Alright, go ahead.
Again, a lot of other sequels, I feel like it is it's just another continuation of the Mario story. And it doesn't feel like they introduce new characters, but it doesn't feel like they do it just to introduce new characters. Bowser Jr. was great, and just overall, it was just an expansion of the first movie.
Yes. Kind of like how Toy Story 2 was.
Which was great, because, and again, you and I have discussed many times, it's like sequels overall do not tend to be great movies, and this one I think kind of shatters that illusion and makes it, Incredibles 2 was a little bit of a letdown.
Yes,
we can admit that.
The sequel, 14 years in waiting, and this was all we got.
Yeah. Whereas this is just such a great sequel. It's more emotional than the first movie.
Yes, this scene alone hit harder than the opening of Up and the end of the end of WALL-E and the opening of Up combined. I'm just gonna say that. I cried. I wanted, there's a movie, I don't really cry often at movies, but when I do, it just really hit home for me.
Yeah. And they bring in the new characters, and it feels completely natural, like Rosalina.
It's just...
And Yoshi. It's just really, really fun movie. And isn't that what movies are supposed to be at the end of the day? Fun, entertaining.
Yes. And sometimes to have a good message.
Yeah.
And you know how I said there was another Pixar movie that was tied with its ending? I think the Galaxy movie just kind of takes the cake for me, just emotionally. From the moment that Peach and Rosalie reunite, I cried like a bitch. and when Mario finally get the kiss from Peach, I also cried like a bitch. Like I cried so much. Like all I just see were just tears.
When he gives her the umbrella.
Oh my god. Like, and Abby was just comforting me while I was bawling. It's just like I can't do this.
Hey,
Like I'm not even trying to do it for a fucking joke. I actually did. Good lord.
Sometimes movies they make it.
All right. Just like you, like how you and Master and Commander.
Yeah, those two scenes of that movie are just, oof, man.
Yeah. But would you agree that this is probably Pixar's most emotional film, or?
It's definitely consideration from the top. I mean, I would say that up maybe.
Just for that opening scene, but
Yeah, but I mean, even still, like the end. I love the very scene at the end of Up with Carl being there for Russell, when nobody else really is, and that's the scene in Up that actually gets me the most.
All right, I definitely you could consider like many people,
But
like,
I would put Mario Galaxy.
like just a bunch of scenes like four parts of it that you could probably put there.
Well, again, it's to me, in the Mario movies specifically, it just shows how much the people that made those movies care about the characters and just telling a good story without it feeling like it is a Mario movie.
Yes. So, hold on. I'm trying to think of something. I also really love Mario's character arc, and I know it doesn't show much in the film, but his I love his arc and try and like show his love for Peach is just so well done. It feels like it's a perfect continuation of the first movie, because in the first movie he just met Peach and just starting to know her and like all that. Maybe he has a crush or something. In the second movie, it's finally shown and it's starting to show that. And at the end, it's just so damn. That's why it's so damn emotional. Like, I'm just gonna say this personally. I just have a very strong attachment to my girlfriend, and I knew how
I think that's why this movie hits so hard for you, because it's very personal for you, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a beautiful tale of
A guy and a girl.
yeah, and. Look, Wall-E was excellent of doing that, but I just feel like emotionally this just hits kind of hard, and this is also Abby's favorite Pixar movie as well. I mean, she feels the same exact way how I felt. Like, we both feel the same exact way. Like, this movie is just a masterpiece, and it's also really funny at times. The scene with Rob always kills me every time.
Yeah, I love the casino scene.
Yes, and it was much better than what? The Last Jedi? Whatever the hell.
We're not even gonna discuss that.
It's just the space setting just feels very familiar, because Pixar already done such an excellent job with Wall-E that it doesn't feel like a rehash. Like, that's a fine line.
No, and it's, I mean, let's face it, Mario's been around for 40, 50 years, and you could not know anything about Mario or the games or anything like that and watch those movies and not be lost, and you'd really enjoy them.
Look, you really have to be on my good side to give this movie a pure 11 out of 10. This movie fucking earned it. I just love everything, and I just see it as a perfect movie. Not gonna say this movie is fully perfect. I know people have their critiques about it, and they're kind of valid, but nothing personally just does not bother me. Nothing in this movie bothers me. The story's great. Some character arcs have some really great arcs. Some of the jokes got me to laugh a lot, and there was just so much there's several moments that just make me feel like I'm a baby. And yeah. And before we end it off, I want to talk about something what I would really love to have for the third movie.
What's that?
I would really love the third movie to focus a little bit more on Mario Peach's relationship. Like, actually feel like a grown character arc. Because I feel like the next step should be is marriage. I feel like you know how like Toy Story 3 was like about Andy going to college and like fans who grew up with the original Toy Story movies were starting to go to college during that time whenever.
Yeah. I
just feel like it would have a very similar effect to young like teenagers and adults whenever they saw the first two movies. Yeah. They're probably the first movie, like they're probably like entering high school, like they're in like their freshman year or sophomore year, and they're just starting to know a few classmates. It's exactly how Mario feels like. He's kind of like a perfect representation of that.
Yeah.
And then in the second movie, we're starting to have this is just kind of the time where most of us are starting to have love couples like during this time. And there you go.
It's similar to me and Mom used to go to the movies and watch all the American Pie movies. And like the first one came out when we were just out of high school and the main character was in high school. And the second movie, the main characters...
Correction. They graduated in 1999, which is the year I graduated. So
sorry, I forget. Yeah.
Timelines very closely.
3 years. Yes. And, you know, so those movies, which are obviously not the best movies ever made, but still they follow, you know, the same things that you're doing in your life. And so they, you know, they strike a chord personally with a lot.
So I really want, like, I would imagine, like, you know how, like, the first movie, like, the first two movies open with introducing some of the new characters. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, like the first movie, all the recognizable characters like Bowser, Mario, and Luigi. The second movie was introducing Rosalina and Yoshi. But I feel like the third movie would be I would imagine to start off that Mario and Peach are finally going through a real date. I don't know what it would be. I would just imagine like they're finally like starting to love each other. And I would see like there would probably definitely be a scene towards the end where Mario finally ask Peach to marry and they'll say yes, and that would just hit home for many teenagers, many young adults who are going through that time. Yeah. Just like how just a similar feeling to Toy Story 3. And I know it's unlikely, but this is just something I would really imagine I would love to see. It would just be a perfect, and that final wedding scene would just be like the perfect like conclusion to the Mario trilogy.
I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see.
That's how I really want to.
All right. Well, before we wrap this up, I have a few questions for you. One, because we're doing all the Pixar movies, what's your favorite John Ratzenberg cameo?
Either the Underminer, John from WALL-E, or that construction worker from Up.
Okay.
And so ends Pixar's filmography for now. Mm-hmm. I mean, what a wild ride we have been through these last 30 plus years. Sometimes we don't have the best moments, but they always have some of the best animated movies of our time. And we can't wait to see let's talk about the movies that'll come out in the future.
Well, that's what I was just going to ask you, because as of the time of recording, this D23 was just the other day, and they had a lot of announcements for movies. You see they're doing Coco 2.
Yes, so...
What do you think about that?
We'll get to that.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So, in March of next year, they're going to release Gato. Mm-hmm. It's about a black cat who works for this mob business and tries to go for adventures in Venice.
Yeah, who's the voice actor in that?
I don't know.
I
I
saw
don't
it,
know
but
if they
I
announced.
can't remember who it was.
Which will be directed by the same guy who did Luca.
Yeah.
In spring of 2028, we're going to have Pixar's first horror movie, Ghost Market, which is about a teenager who enters like a 7-Eleven like store, but that store is haunted by ghosts.
Mm.
So it's going to be unique that Pixar is going to do something very similar to the veins of like Paranorman or Coraline.
Yeah.
But it's not stop motion.
Sounds good.
And probably maybe either 2027 or 2028 is Incredibles 3, which is probably going to have a focus on the kids.
Yeah, I think they said it's spring 2028.
I think that's what the Ghost Market is.
Maybe it's both.
And 2029, we're going to have Coco 2.
Yeah.
I don't know if we really need a sequel to Coco.
The only thing I read about that the other day when they did the announcement at D23 is that it's going to be Ernesto de la Cruz looking for revenge from beyond.
Come on, really?
Maybe it'll be good.
But there is going to be a time jump because I saw what's his name? The main character.
Miguel,
sorry. Look like late teens, maybe even early 20s in that. And that he's still playing music and I don't know, it's interesting, but like I said, it was Incredibles 3, Coco 2. Did they announce any other?
No. I mean, but I think another thing that we'll probably most likely get during this time is a Mario 3. And I hope like the final, I hope it'll probably, if they do like this little date to marriage character arc for Mario and Peach, like if they do that, it would just be the perfect way to end off.
Well, maybe
this
you can
trilogy.
play it at your wedding. Mm-hmm.
We'll see. We'll find it. All right, Mom. Do you want to say give a conclusion to Pixar?
Yeah, I mean, very, very fun time was had.
The last 30 years.
Yeah.
It produced some of the best.
Yeah, I mean, it's entertainment at its finest. I think that's what we can say about
What would you say in conclusion to Pixar?
I would say no matter what, Pixar over the last 30 plus years I never made a bad movie.
Well, outside of Nemo.
But even so, Nemo's a well-made movie. I hate it. But
Yeah.
that's for my own personal reasons. But, Pixar does not make bad movies. They put a lot of thought and imagination into their movies. Now, they haven't all been hits. There have been some misses.
And this is honestly one of the hardest rankings I have ever done before, because they only made one bad movie, a few okay movies, but the rest of the movies are good to phenomenal.
Well, I look forward to whatever they're going to put out in the future.
Yes.
Especially Incredibles 3.
And sometimes there were times that were truly amazing, like Mario or Up. And there was occasionally a weird movie like Cars 2.
Well, I've seen a lot of criticism over the last, say, 10 years or so that, Pixar's lost its edge. It's not that good anymore.
But I would say the last few years, they kind of really
I
started
think as soon as people start saying that, then they come back with something that's...
like, say,
really
Mario or Coco or Inside Out.
Yep. So,
And if Pixar just shuts down, I'm just not gonna be the same person again.
well, they got 30... How many movies? 34?
33 movies.
33 movies, so we'll always have that.
All we can say now is we love you, Pixar. We want you guys to live forever because you have a wonderful legacy. From Toy Story to a fifth Toy Story and everything else in between.
And beyond.
That too. All right. Sorry for this. Sorry if I haven't been uploading for a while, guys. It's just this video has been taking me a really long time to edit. It's just
Despite us telling him we should release it in parts, but
like this is just probably the longest video I've ever done, and I just needed like a lot of time and care for this video to be released, and all I can say is now is if you made it this far, thank you so much. Like and subscribe. Please just follow for more videos and join. And next time we will look up in the sky to find a castle. See you next time, guys.